Welcome to episode 31 of Rapid Reviews Radio. I am your co-host, Kylie Wild, and I am joined with Pete Beckett.
Hello.
And we are in day 1 million T of lockdown.
1,000,001.
Yes. So, how has this week been for you?
It's had its ups and downs. It's been rough, mostly okay. It's had a couple of odd moments where it's just been like, oh, I'm so bored of this situation now. But,
Right.
well, this is life. Unfortunately, this is life now, so we've just got to get on with it. So,
Yep. That's a very British way to view it.
yeah, swallow my pride, get on with it, you know.
Yeah.
Stiff up
Stiff up a lip.
Yep.
All that.
Righto.
Righto.
That just reminds me, right? I was watching Wolf of Wall Street again the other day. That film, like, literally, I watch it so many times, it's ridiculous. But it's where he introduces his dad, which is he calls him Mad Max.
Oh my gosh!
It's where he's sitting there watching The Equalizer, and someone actually calls him up, and he starts swearing like anything, like getting really angry by it. But then when he answers the phone, he turns into a posh British guy. It's like, oh, hello. Oh, righto, Gene. I'll get with you right away. And then he comes off the phone and he starts screaming and shouting and swearing again. It's really funny.
What the audience doesn't know is that's how I am off air.
Yeah, I don't know why I watched that film again, despite the fact I only watched it 2 weeks ago.
I've got to sit down and watch it. It keeps getting recommended to me through other people. They're just like, you're gonna love it, and
Okay.
I just
You want a really good recommendation for a film?
Sure.
Watch The Wolf of Wall Street.
I will take that on board.
Yeah, for the millionth time.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll come back to you like I have throughout all the weeks. And
Yeah.
gone, have you watched Wolf of Wall Street yet? It's like I did with you the other day. Have you watched No Ice Guys yet? No.
That's all right. I'm about to admit some really just terrible things that's gonna make everyone go turn in your geek card right now.
Go ahead.
I have never seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
Who cares?
and-
It's terrible.
Any of them, and I have never seen Matrix 2, and I will never watch 3. And I have people constantly for the last few years going, have you watched The Matrix yet? Have you watched Pirates of the Caribbean yet?
Have you watched the first Matrix?
I watched some of it, and I got bored, and everyone says that I'm terrible for it.
You are terrible because it's great.
I like the idea behind it. I love that.
Yeah, just watch it and watch all the ideas come into one and just enjoy it for what it is. Because a lot of people back in the day were just very confused by what it was. And I think that stigma sort of had a lot of impact on a lot of people who kept recommending it. It's like, oh, this is super obscure, it's weird. It's not. It's just
not weird. Yeah.
It's just people weren't gauging the concept of it, that you know, there is one side of things that is actually real and one side that is not real.
Right.
And they weren't getting that the Matrix was not real.
Right.
But they were not understanding that Zion was the real place that they were, but they were just jacking into the Matrix, basically, to try and essentially live a normal life.
Yeah, and see, that makes sense because I have always been a pretty diehard science fiction fan. So none of the ideas were quite new to me.
No, of course not.
So I just and I also have a very short attention span.
Yeah, so I think if you were to take the time to just enjoy it for what it is, I think you'd quite like it.
Yeah. Well, now that you phrased it that way, I think I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I think nobody's really been able to properly explain what the Matrix really is, and I think I've just done a decent enough job trying.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so.
But yeah, watch Wolf of Wall Street as well, because it's so good.
Yes.
It's probably, for me, it's one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances, and the only reason why he actually won an Oscar for The Revenant was because he got done dirty by the Oscars for not giving them to this film because it was utter load of debauchery.
Right.
I love. I'm gonna be a bit rude here, but I'm not gonna say exactly what happens. But it's when he first meets. What's his blooming name? Why am I blanking? Jonah Hill. That's the one. Jonah Hill's character.
Right. Okay.
Now he's fantastic in the film. He's so good as Donnie. It's where he first meets him. He's literally sitting in this place, and he's like, he just comes up to him because they live in the same apartment building. And
Mm-hmm.
he sees his car outside. He's like, "You gotta make some sort of money. That's a nice car you've got out there." It's like, he goes, "How much do you make? How much do you make a month?" And then Leo's character Jordan just goes, 50,000 last month, or was it more 70,000?
Oh my
And
goodness.
and Jonah Hill, like Donnie, just goes, "Get the f out of here. If you show me a pay stub for 70,000, I'm gonna quit my job right now and come work for you."
Oh
So
gosh.
literally the next scene is him in a phone box telling his boss to f off.
Ah,
It's
very good.
so funny.
That reminds me, I was also given the book that the movie's based on,
Oh,
and I still
it's beautiful. That book
over
is
it.
fantastic as well.
It's in my bookcase.
Read it, and then like either watch the movie and then read it, or read it and then watch the movie because
Yeah.
they're both so well done, and I think the movie is absolutely superbly done and as close as you can get to the book.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. So
Yeah,
I guess I'll have to.
and it's Scorsese, and Scorsese's a
Oh,
genius, so
I do. I do love Scorsese. I do. Oh,
my my
really
next
do.
endeavour is to try and sit through 3.5 hours of The Irishman.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is not our movie podcast, but we'll go for it
It
anyway.
may no, trust me, it will make sense later.
It will. It always does. Um, no, but now I have not seen The Irishman, but I did. I do have the book, and I read through the book.
Okay,
It was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating.
okay.
So I hope that the show is as good.
Well, I'm gonna
Um,
have to get back to you on that one. It's like I
mhm.
said, 3.5 hours of
Yeah,
straight movie, so
yeah.
I might have to watch it in parts.
That's that. I would definitely have to. 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. 15-minute increments is gonna take you the rest of the
Yeah.
month to get there.
Yeah, see,
Uh,
I don't binge anything. The only thing I ever binged as far as like Netflix and all that goes
yeah,
is Futurama
of course.
and yeah, of course, and American Dad.
Yeah, I think those are like nice, light and fluffy to be able
Exactly.
to do that. Really, try
Yeah.
doing that with BoJack Horseman, one of the most
Now,
emotionally intense TV shows ever.
I, I did actually binge that first season
Me
because it
too.
was so good and it went by really fast, but then
Yeah.
it started getting super deep and I was like, okay,
Oh my
I need a
god.
unicorn chaser.
Yeah, it's when you get to episode 11 of the first season. It's the one where
Yeah.
Herb dies, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is so intense.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay,
so well written.
spoiler for season
Anyway,
one there. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
been
think it's
around
been
a
out
while.
a
I
few
don't
years.
care.
So.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
yeah. Right.
Uh,
Okay.
we probably should go on to the news so that we can get back to the topic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
which,
so if you haven't noticed already, this is going to be a bit lighter today because
yes,
last week was super intense.
it was so good though. We hope that you guys enjoyed it because we enjoyed producing it for you. It was yeah,
Yeah, it's now
wonderful.
it's now on the plans to hopefully do them a little bit more frequently when bigger stuff
Yeah.
happens. So we'll
We
get
had a
into
lot of
that.
people wanting, yeah, we had a lot of people, a good response, and then a lot of people wanting to be guest speakers, which is like, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm so happy with that as well because we got
Yeah.
a few people who were like,
Hmm.
I think it was Nanamaru, I think it was on our Discord who
Hmm.
was like, oh, I'll get involved in that, and then
Yep.
I turned around and asked previous guest and friend of the show Daryl to come and join us for
Yeah.
one as well, and he was super well happy to do that. You know,
Absolutely.
so we got
It's gonna be good.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then we've obviously got Jen because we can't ever get rid of Jen.
No.
Nah, Jen's
She's
cool.
stuck with us
Jen's
forever.
cool. Well, like she knows I'm probably joking by that.
Probably no, and then you get blocked.
Yeah, and then unblocked a few days later because she needs someone to talk to.
Yep.
Okay, so
Um,
I'm just gonna do a bit of housekeeping from last week. Um,
yes.
we've had a couple of little additional updates based on the story in which we discussed. So, The Last of Us 2 leaks. There's not been much happening this week. It looks like it's sort of dying down a little bit. But two YouTubers by the name of Hill versus Babyface and The Quartering, which we
Hmm.
mentioned last week,
Yes.
have actually had DMC takedowns leveled against them this week. Again. So, the quartering had gotten away with a lot of it, but he has now had 30 DMCA takedowns by Muso TNT Limited. And most of them were for thumbnails, like I said. I knew that was going to happen. I said, oh, he's putting stuff in his thumbnails. I'm surprised he hasn't been gone after.
Right.
Well, now he has.
Yeah.
And Hill versus Babyface had 2 videos taken down. The problem with those was that the copyright strikes were originally leveled by Muso TNT Limited, but were removed. 2 days later, they were struck down by Sony Interactive Entertainment of America, which is weird because he's British. He should have been done by Sony Interactive Entertainment of Europe or by just SIE generally. The fact that he's had the strikes removed by Muso and then two more strikes have appeared seems a bit suspicious, especially when you looked into his video where it said, 30 days to appeal this, and if they don't respond in 30 days, it will get taken back up, which puts us to very, very close to the release date.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not going to throw any conspiracy theories around because I don't want to, but that is suspicious.
I don't know that it's so much theories at this point. I think if you've been following along, Sony is just absolutely guilty in this situation. The amount of power they're trying to wield, it actually makes me nauseous.
Well, it does with me as well, considering that we'll get down to this probably at a later point in time when we discuss this. But actually, the actions of Sony Interactive Entertainment has now pretty much pushed me more towards the camp of, I think I'm going to boycott the PS5. Because I'm not willing to pay the money to Sony for them to be harassing people like this over nothing. They haven't done anything wrong.
Right. No, it's censorship, as we said last week. It's censorship. And I do not abide by censorship.
No.
In any form.
But now, the only problem with this is that I've now dug myself a real hole. Because the next news story...
Yes.
Which is why I prefaced it by saying, boycott the PS5.
Yep.
Because Sony's State of Play, which was dedicated to Ghost of Tsushima, was revealed on the 14th of May and showed 18 glorious minutes of gameplay.
Yes.
Nothing but gameplay.
Yep, which is how you do it. That's the way to do it.
Yep, so they had two people from Sucker Punch discussing what was going on at the time. So they showed off a lot of the stuff to do with the open world, how you collect resources such as bamboo, because that was shown a lot. So there were a lot of trees that flash a different color as you're riding near them, and then you can sort of loot them, which is good.
Right.
It shows that there are many different approaches to how you take over strongholds, which is the Mongolian strongholds, because feudal Japan's history was obviously one between the Japanese and the Mongols.
Yep.
Yes. And then, what else do I go on? Because this was jam-packed. There's so much going on in 18 minutes for this. They showed the difference between playing as the main character Jin, or playing as main character Ghost, which is weird. So that was the thing, is that you have a different reputation based on who you decide to tailor your approach to. So if you go in as unmasked Jin, they might be more open to you, or might be more friendly. However, if you've killed a lot of people as the Ghost, and you've seen the mask in the trailers and all that sort of thing, people start to run scared of you. And it is really interesting how they tailor their approach based around you invading a stronghold as the Ghost.
That's very cool. That is an element I didn't expect. So.
It's very... And I hate to say this, because I'm going to bring this up. It was stated in a lot of the reviews back in 2017. Now, that date should give a lot of indication as to what I'm going to talk about here. Is that open world games would forever be changed. And I think they have been. And this is starting to show the first steps of it. Breath of the Wild changed open world games forever.
I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Because look at how you could infiltrate strongholds in in that
Mhm.
game. How you could tailor your approach towards what you wanted to do, like lighting the floor on fire and then flying in on
Mhm.
your glider and then taking them down that way, or
Right.
stealthing it and taking them out one by one, or these sorts of things were in other games, but they were streamlined in such a way on Breath of the Wild that I think was
Right.
forever going to change the genre. And I think
Mhm.
it's 3 years later we're going to see what they have done.
Yeah,
Really.
definitely.
Okay, so um, in regards to this, they showed bit of character customization, so showing the amount of stuff that you could do with your own costume,
Mhm.
such as picking up dyes throughout the world and being able to change the color of your clothing, which I thought was really cool.
It's very Fable-like.
It is, but there are two things that were
Mhm.
super impressive to me, and they won't sound like much, but to someone who's a big fan of these kinds of this
Mhm.
kind of history,
Mhm.
the black and white filter mode, playing the entire game through that mode,
Right.
and the Japanese dialogue options with subtitles. Oh
Which
boy, they are.
I
Oh,
love
that
that.
I loved it too because they're
Yeah.
very akin to old samurai movies. They
Yes.
like Sucker Punch even said about their love of
Mhm.
samurai movies, and that's what influenced that decision. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
I am so happy
Absolutely.
with this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I will definitely be playing it with the Japanese dialogue option.
Oh, too right. I'm playing the whole game in black and white. I don't care. I
I
mean,
might not do that,
no,
but
I mean
I
you.
love the option.
It's night and day difference, right? If you look at the video, they show it off where it's sort of like pans across the screen like you would do, like when you're doing like a remaster
Yeah.
or something, and it shows
Hmm.
the difference between the color and the black and white. Now the
Oh
world
wow.
looks super crazy in color, and I
Uh-huh.
love the look of it, but I don't know if I'm going to play it in color because I really want that black and white authentic samurai movie experience
Right.
because I'm such a
Oh,
nerd, obviously.
well, they are good. I grew up watching them, and
Mm,
I just love that whole thing.
yeah.
I said before that I just love the whole tenets of Bushido because I'm a big nerd.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
I
and of
mean,
course I got into martial arts because of all the
oh, of course,
movies I'd
yeah. Um,
watch. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it wasn't so much. It was the samurai movies, but some of the
Hmm.
influence that I saw in this was games like Tenshu,
Mm-hmm.
which was obviously
Yeah.
from Software's
Yes, that's
game
right.
before they Dark Souled. But
Yes.
then obviously you've got Sekiro in there too.
Right.
But for me, it was Way of the Samurai. The choice of
Oh,
dialogue options and different ways that you could
yeah.
do things was very Way of the Samurai.
Hmm.
Well, obviously it does play into the fact that I do love the films of Toichi as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh,
Zatoichi is a beautiful film, so good.
they're gorgeous. I'm glad you could pronounce that.
Yeah, because I'm not a philistine.
I can't pronounce it. I can't even pronounce Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima.
It's either Tsushima or Tsushima. I can't remember, but look, I wanted to learn Japanese for a long time, so
Oh,
I'm still gonna try and learn it someday because I do
I
want to
think
go to
that's
Japan.
I think that's a noble pursuit. I can't learn languages, which I've said so many times on the show. I
Also,
just
yeah, I know, but also I've held samurai swords and I love them. I think they're
ah
so cool.
yes,
Oh, I want a samurai sword so bad.
I know, I know. I during one of my martial arts classes, we had there's katanas, of
Yeah,
course,
of
because
course.
that's all you have. But I was lucky, without going into too much detail, that I got to hold a certain katana from a certain movie called The
Oh,
Highlander,
oh no way!
and it was because of well reasons. But yes,
Because of your
it was
raging
awesome.
Scottishness, obviously.
Yes, and it
Clearly.
was it was awesome. It was awesome. I got to learn the correct way to hold it and everything, and it was awesome.
Well, the thing is, there's no correct way to hold a sword. It
Mm.
is there.
Well, there's
Well,
there's more.
there's only one way that you don't hold a sword, and that's by the blade
Gosh.
itself.
Yes, you stick the pointy end in the the other person.
No, I just meant because there's different stances more than anything.
Yes,
So
there
there's
is.
not
There's
like a proper like
oh
unified way
right,
to
no,
hold a sword.
no.
It's dependent on the stance that you
On the-
take.
Yes, exactly, and it also depends on the style of the sword as well.
Yes, it
Uh,
does because you know the thing about a katana is you can play it. You can play it in two different ways. You can be
right.
the reflective sort of let's play by parry sort of system
Mm-hmm.
that some do use, where they're like just walking through an area, and you'll see it in Satoichi because obviously it's a blind samurai,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
where he literally reacts to what they're doing, and it's all based on counterattack.
Right.
Or you've got
It's
the
more
in
defensive
yeah you've
than
got
offensive.
exactly, or you've got the in your face like I'm not gonna leave you alone, and it's like the blade of a thousand cuts style.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. See, I know my samurai. Okay.
Yeah, you do. You do. But you know what that did remind me of? What? Maybe it was the Wii. What game was it? What's the guy that?
Red
Is
Steel.
it Ang Lee? Is that Ang Lee?
No, no,
That
no,
game?
no. They had a game on there's called Red Steel. It was a launch game for the Wii, but it was like
But it was a
set
samurai
in
sword, right?
modern Japan with samurais. So it was
Right.
like samurais with guns, which was a bit weird.
But there was one that used a sword, and you had to use motion controls with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that was Red Steel. You had
Oh,
swords, but you also had guns in it, which was really weird.
right. Okay.
Yeah, it
I
was a.
thought for sure Ang Lee did some kind of.
He might have
Uh,
done. I just don't know. So I now might have to actually search it up.
I know. I probably got two games conflated.
You probably did.
Yeah. Um, is he the one that does all the doves? Who does the doves?
The, yeah, that's Ang Lee. Yeah, because that was it Ang Lee?
And
Yeah, because
bullets.
because he did Face Off.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there
That
was
that's who.
loads of
Yeah.
those. Yeah, he also did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes. Oh, I love that movie.
The
Because
movie's
I'm a
cool.
cheesy.
Yeah, the
I'm so
movie's cool. All
cheesy.
right, like there's nothing
I
wrong with
love
that
it.
movie. It's
It's so
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah, but then they
I
had
thought
like
for
loads of other films that are like very similar to it, and they never quite like lived up to that promise, really.
yeah.
No, it's
I'll have
like I'm looking at his
to.
IMDb, and
Okay.
there is no games on there whatsoever by the
There
looks of it.
is there is some game. Oh my gosh, listeners, you have to bear with us. I have to know. Okay, so who's the star of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Which
That
guy was that?
that would be, and don't Chow Yun Fat, I believe.
Chow Yun Fat, and he was in
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold.
I believe it was Stranglehold. Ang Lee Stranglehold.
Ah, yes, there it is. That's it. I knew I
Yes!
was. Yes,
Yes!
yes.
I can't believe I pulled that out of nowhere.
You did. 1992. That's
Mm,
not when the game came out, though. No, that's
no.
okay. I was like, whoa,
Oh
no
no,
way.
no, no! Sorry,
John Woo.
No, it was John
John
Woo. That
Woo.
was the one, not Ang Lee. Sorry.
Finally.
Yeah, John Woo Stranglehold was the one.
We got it. You pulled that
Hey.
off. I can't believe you did that.
Well, you
Uh,
had me do that in the week as well, where you were like, I need to think about this, and you went, oh, what is this character from this film? And I went, is it Guardians of the Galaxy? And you were like, yeah, it's a blue dude. And I went, this one? No. This one? No. This one? Yeah, that's the
man,
one. And I went, oh, that's the actor's name. It's Michael Rooker. You really made me work for
that
that one.
was so funny. But yes, no, that game was released in 2007, and it's called Stranglehold. But
And it's terrible.
that's what I heard. But I always wanted to play it.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
but it has like bullet time in it, which was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's it.
because
That's it.
that's not
I
Max
see it
Payne
right
at all,
now.
is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Do you want to talk any more about Ghost of Tsushima?
I do want to play it. It looks beautiful, and I think it will be a good subject in the future when we do one of our roundtable discussions over the release of the PS5. I think it
Yeah.
will be good to talk about, you know, there's a good game, a Sony exclusive, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll save that for
Sure.
then.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over what I'd seen and how happy I am that what I had seen, because I have been equal parts excited but also worried for how little we've seen of this game. And to be
And
honest
how
with you,
much they develop.
I'm quite glad that they've stayed silent for the vast majority of this, because I think what they've been doing is they've been crafting a game like that is
Hmm.
just going to be something else for the open world genre, not just samurai games.
Right.
I think this might show some of the promise of what we could have with open world games going into the next generation as well, with the SSDs there. And I think this one's
Mhm.
going to push the boat out on what the PS4 is truly capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. It is always strange to me how it's towards the end of a console's life when the like games that really push the hardware come out, and
Yeah,
you almost think, why couldn't this have happened, 3 or 4 years ago?
I honestly don't think it's very strange at all. It's because of the experience that you've had over the previous years is what puts that all
Hmm.
into perspective, and then you're also learning from other developers who have managed to
Well,
utilize
that's true.
certain techniques to be able to get things
Yeah.
to a certain point. Just look at what was the name of the company who made it? Oh God. I'm thinking Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4.
Oh, right.
Who was
Yes.
it who
Yes.
developed
Yes.
that? Oh God.
Oh God. Ah. God. Why?
Oh, Insomniac.
That was
I
it.
literally pulled the copy of the game off my bookshelf there. Just
I'm like, it
yeah,
was everywhere at the
yeah.
time when
I
it
know.
came out, and I just could not think.
Yeah, I mean, so I heard about them having a really interesting way of doing things with the open world. That actually, they reduced Spider-Man's swinging speed to make
Hmm.
sure that it wasn't too fast. They capped it at a certain rate so that it would keep up with the load rate of the city,
Right.
which I
That's
thought was
really
a
cool.
really interesting technique.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why I always
Absolutely.
played it, and I went, why can't I swing faster? So now I know.
Yep.
It's a beautiful looking game. I just got no interest in playing it because it's too Arkham for me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were crazy about it.
Yeah, I
Um,
really like what they've done with the game, and I love Spider-Man, which is weird because I hate spiders, but um, but I like what they've done with it. It's just the combat for me is just too Arkham, and I love
it
Arkham,
is very.
but like
Mhm.
I just don't enjoy that feeling as playing as Peter Parker in that sort
Mhm.
of respect, because it's too floaty,
Yeah, I get that. I
yeah,
do. I totally get that.
which is fair. Anyway, so we'll move on, shall we? Because we've sort of sidetracked away from that, and weirdly enough, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So we're gonna
That's how the show goes.
always, yeah. You can tell we're relaxed today. It's like no.
Yeah.
So which one do we discuss first? Which game do we discuss first that got announced this week?
That's a tough one.
Nah, screw it.
Um,
I'm going with it. Paper Mario,
yep.
the
I knew
Origami
it.
King. Mike,
Yes.
Paper Mario, the Origami King had a video trailer released
Hmm.
on the Nintendo of Japan Twitter
Yes.
page, which then blew up.
Yes.
Like
Quite a bit.
really blew up.
Like paper being lit on fire.
Yeah, a paper aeroplane being flown through the sky and then bombed. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not making any 9/11 references there. Sorry.
I think yeah, it's all gotten away from us.
Yeah, God. Sorry, it's been one of those weeks.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, so we have a new Paper Mario game, which is not surprising.
right. No, it's not. I mean, it was mentioned before.
Yeah, well, I'll mention the fact that there was when we mentioned about the Mario remasters in a previous
Hmm. Yes.
episode a few weeks back.
Yep.
I can't remember which one that was. I'm not even going to go and look at the
Ugh.
episode list, to be honest.
It's
So
so we've got so many episodes now that they're all blending together.
they're not for me. I can still bring out the odd one here and there. I just can't remember exactly when we mentioned that without going back to the show notes.
Well,
Um,
I will say this, I'll admit on air, I actually had forgotten about the Super Mario
oh,
leaks or whatever.
oh yeah, because I mentioned it to you and you went,
I was like,
"Oh
oh
yeah."
yeah.
Yeah, so
Totally forgot about it.
Paper Mario was actually an show not shown off, but it was stated
Hmm.
in the leaks of the Mario remasters that actually there was a
Yes.
Paper Mario game in the works, and we didn't know about it.
Hmm.
We do now. because it's called
Yep.
the Origami King, which... Uh-oh, I'm a bit worried still.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to sound like one of these very typical fans that goes, I want a traditional RPG. No, to be honest with you,
Uh,
like I love the first three Paper Mario games.
yeah.
The first game is a fantastic experience. Um,
Yes.
the Thousand Year Door is their magnum opus, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know people who don't like that game, and I have to tell them they're wrong, but that's their opinion because there's something wrong with them too. They were like,
Oh.
their problem was is the battle system was too easy. I was like, you don't
But
play a
that
Paper Mario game for it to be
no,
complex, do you?
exactly.
And he
Exactly.
was like, yeah, but the original Paper Mario had a bit of complexity. I was like, yeah, so does this one. It's called a crowd.
Yeah.
That's the
I like that.
complexity angle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll get off my high horse here. um, but Super,
You're a Nintendo fanboy?
I am not a fanboy. I literally criticised the Switch off air because my Joy-Cons are
You did.
drifting again.
You
Piece of...
did, yep.
I'm not even going to go into that because I could have
Oh, I
sworn there.
know.
Um,
Oh, I know.
anyway, so Super Paper Mario was a good game. It was a very good game.
Yes.
In fact, it was just a departure from what that traditional battle system was like. But
Yes.
it wasn't that bad. Sticker Star, however,
Which I've never played.
um, I didn't even know they made a game called Sticker Star. What are we talking about here? What? What?
Uh-huh.
That's basically my opinion on Sticker Star. Is it doesn't exist. It's a
Yeah.
terrible, terrible, terrible game.
Game shall not be named.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is my Halo 5 basically for you.
what did you say?
There you go, proving the point. It is the game that doesn't exist in the franchise that you like.
Yes. There
Okay,
you go. Oh, I like that.
yeah, fine. Now, Color Splash was a bit better, but it still was gimmicky.
hmm
I think that's boiled down to the issue that I have with these games of the last few years is that each game feels like now it has to have a gimmicky battle system, and that's what's got me
Right.
worried. Is this one looks like it could have it too?
Yes.
I mean, I showed you before the show like what it was, and it was like a 19-second video of it
hmm
looking like a puzzler, but also a battle system, and it was unusual.
It was. Yeah. Might link that on our Twitter. If,
Yeah,
in
I'm
case
going to.
you live under a rock and never saw it. But
Yeah. Well, I didn't know a lot of people who saw it because I posted it up on our Discord, and they went, "I didn't know this was here." I was like,
oh, right.
"Yeah,"
Okay.
because it was Game Explain. That's what they do. They post up
Yeah.
things like this, and sometimes people just don't react to it at all.
Yeah.
Just
We'll have to
fine.
put that up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's a strange looking system. Plus, it does give you kind of a sneak peek of, the graphic style and all that stuff, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you'd expect from a Paper Mario game.
Oh yeah, it's like it looks amazing. Like
hmm
take
hmm
nothing away from each Paper Mario game. Each one's looks really really good, and
Yep.
they've gone with that papery
I
sort
love
of
it.
like
It's like
origami.
2D, but
They've gone with the origami style with this time, but always the
yeah.
paper aesthetic has always been really well done.
hmm
It's never. It's. I mean, considering that Paper Mario was originally Nintendo's answer to making Mario RPG 2 without Square, I think they've
Right.
done a really good job with it to certain
hmm
degrees. Obviously, not everyone thinks that, but the first three
Right.
games are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, not as good as Super
Absolutely.
Mario RPG, but that's neither here
Yeah.
or there.
That was helped by lots of different factors.
Yeah, it's called Square. It's called
It,
amazing characters such as
yeah.
Gino and Mallow.
Yes.
It's also because of the Final
Oh,
Fantasy
yeah.
element by having that incredibly overpowered side boss,
Yes, that's right.
and because Smithy is awesome as a
Yes.
boss, like as a main villain. Like he's one of those sorts of main villains that's never seen until the very end, and it's great.
It is good. Oh man, that makes me want to go play it again.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he's called Smithy because he's a blacksmith.
Oh yes, yes.
Just very, very typical way of doing things, wasn't it? It was like so on the nose,
Yep,
but it was so cool.
yep. Oh, so good.
Also, if you haven't played Super Mario RPG, go and play it just for the
Yep.
Axiom Rangers alone, because they're awesome too.
Yeah, It's just charming. It's just charming from start to finish. I love it.
Wonderful game, absolutely
It is.
wonderful.
Hmm.
And us Europeans didn't even get to play it officially until the Wii U came out.
Really?
Never got released on our shores,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
why I
That's
can't own a physical version with it without it being a North American version.
right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is so strange to me but that does happen. It happens a lot.
It's not
Uh,
strange at all because Square weren't putting out a lot of games over in the West at the time, were they?
no, they weren't.
No.
No, they weren't.
So they got
Hmm.
it in Japan and North America, but Europe just got nothing.
That was during that time where, yeah, Europe just didn't, or if you did get something, it would be like months later
Oh, years.
or years.
Yes, or
Yeah.
years. I mean, bearing in mind that Super Mario, Mario Brothers 3 came out in 1988 on the NES,
Mhm.
didn't come out
Right.
until 1990 over here.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
my point exactly. We ne-
See,
we
that,
we never got Lost Levels until
oh,
All Stars
lost
came
that.
out.
Oh my goodness.
You know, we we,
See,
we got we got obviously we got Mario 2, but you know,
yeah.
Doki Doki Mario Panic,
Yes.
which is what the name that I always call it. I even said it to someone on our Discord when they mentioned Mario
Oh,
2.
that's
I just
funny.
went, "What, you mean Doki Doki Mario Panic?" And he went, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, you mean
how do
that?"
you not know that by
I
now?
was like, "You mean that game that was Doki Doki Panic reskinned as a Mario game?" He went,
Yep.
"What?" I was like, "Go and read it, dude."
And it's I kid you not, it has always been my favorite Mario game. And it's not even really a Mario game, so
Do
I
do
don't know what
do
that says
do
about
do.
me. The music's so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do 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 do
oh,
do
yep.
do 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 do. Yeah, I still it was. I played that game to death.
Yes,
Good old
yes,
Wart.
yes.
Good
Oh,
luck. Do love a bit of Wart.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah, it was the first
all
introduction
the
of Birdo
characters.
as well.
Yeah, Birdo and the mouse guy that I can't remember him and his name.
Oh, I can't remember
Mouser?
either. Mouser,
It's
yeah, that's the
Mouser.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
oh, yeah.
yeah, we also had the unusual. We was it? Yeah, we had Shy Guys for the first time as well, and they
Yep,
never got featured until like another game later on down the line.
that's right.
And it was all a
Yeah,
dream.
it was all a dream. Yep. Oh, it's so good. Dadgummit, I'm gonna have to have a Nintendo day. I think.
Now you know how I live my life.
Yes, exactly. But
I'm I'm not a
uh,
fanboy, I promise.
yeah, huh? But though that does open up a broader conversation that we could have,
Which is
either on here or roundtable, but which is how digital downloading has actually made access to games improve globally.
kind of. I think it's a good discussion to have, so we'll
Yeah,
definitely have that one at some point. But my
yeah,
long and short of it is that it is until Nintendo resell you Super Mario Brothers 17
I
times
know.
across all systems.
I'm yeah. We'll definitely save that because I definitely have lots to talk on that
Yeah, so
topic.
do I.
Well,
But
yeah.
anyway, getting back to
Yes.
Paper Mario and the Origami King. So,
Oh.
according to the game, according to the trailer itself, it looks like there is a villain by the name of the Origami King who is taking over the area and is using Origami Peach to do so,
Right.
which
Yes.
sounds pretty
Yes.
cool, and also Bowser as well, I believe, but I don't know.
Mhm.
But one of the things that it looks like are returning to this game are two elements that people have been asking to come back for ages: partners
Mhm.
and the crowd mechanic
Yes.
from the battle system.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah. The crowd. It's weird because the crowd was such a big part of it.
Yeah,
So it's weird to me that they would take it away. But yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
back.
I did quite like the I did quite like the fact that when you had like a random roll on Thousand Year Door,
Hmm.
if you managed to like recover all your HP or your FP, then it would
Hmm.
just draw the crowd in massively. It was
Yes.
like you might
Yeah.
have like a couple of people, but then it would just like
I
the
love
wheels would
that.
turn and
Yeah.
then it would just suddenly go up to like 100 odd people, and
Yes.
you'd get more experience based on the fact that people were enjoying what you did, and I really liked
Hmm.
that aspect. It was really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was also the random throwing of things that could
Yeah,
also help or hinder you, which I thought was pretty
yeah,
cool.
that was very cool. Yes.
So, but other than that, there's not really much else to say. The game is due out on the 17th of July, so pretty soon. And it looked like there was going to have some issues with the physical versions, but they've now been sorted out because they've now been listed on Nintendo's UK page and Shop 2 and all other places. So,
Right.
physical are a thing, which is good.
Yeah, it's always good.
Also, Shop 2 are selling it for 42.85 compared to the 49.99 like everywhere else. So go on the Shop 2 because Shop 2 are great.
Yep.
Can't
Shameless
recommend them
plug.
enough. Yeah. Like, we're not sponsored by them, but I use them
Not
frequently
no.
and they are very good. I've
Yeah.
only ever had one bad incident with them, but they refunded my money immediately when Royal
Yeah.
Mail screwed up.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I
good.
remember you telling me that, and that's just really cool. They have good
Yeah.
customer service, it sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you take this news story then, because I think we're both excited about this, but I think
Uh,
you more so than anyone.
well, this one is good because I don't know, like it's one of the most influential games on all of our
Yep.
young gaming lives.
Yep.
But yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered was announced. Um, it was funny because Tony had tweeted out a mysterious thing, and so everyone just
Yeah.
went nuts, just absolutely nuts, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get a new Tony Hawk game," and then everyone's like, "No, it won't be new; it'll be remastered," and they were all arguing and stuff. But
What was the name that was going around for it? If you remember, there was like someone had tweeted it out. It was like Tony Hawk, like
God,
something
I
really
remember.
weird, wasn't it?
It was weird. It was very weird. But my brain did not hold on to it because I
No,
knew that that was crap.
unimportant information.
Exactly.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Valhalla. No, it wasn't really. I promise.
Oh my gosh. But oh, the fun that that just made go in my brain. But yeah, it's the remastered's been announced. It's coming to all the platforms except Switch, it looks like.
Boo!
Which, kind of makes sense. I'm sure it will come
No,
earlier.
look, it doesn't make sense. Vicarious Visions, who are making this game,
Hmm?
made Crash Insane Trilogy, which came
Yes.
out on the Switch eventually. So yeah,
Right.
it will come out, but I think they probably just need some more time to get it on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I do forget that, you know, the Xbox and the Xbox PC and PS4 or the PlayStation, they've kind of got not exactly the same, but a very similar code structure, where
Yeah,
Switch is
it's
a completely different one.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the Xbox it's called the Jaguar X83 architecture, and it's essentially very very similar in the PS4, but it's not the Jaguar,
Yeah.
or
Right.
or what the Americans like to call Jaguar.
That's right.
Stupid
I like the Jag.
Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. We would always make fun of people going Jaguar, but
Jaguar. Yeah, but that's because look, we have a car company over here that are
yeah.
very important called
Yeah.
Jaguar, and you'll never ever once hear an American call it Jaguar cars ever.
I don't know. I worked with some people that drove some, and being that we were all Texan, we were like, "Oh yeah, them over there, they was driving that Jagger." So
We just call them Jags anyway. So
now, if you wanted to be a prick in Texas, call it a Jag and see what happens.
oh dear, am I gonna have
Oh,
to get the censor out for that one? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I might do it anyway just to be
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, oh, so funny. But I mean, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 were huge influences on all of us, really. I know that's kind of a generic, broad brush thing, but I mean,
No.
we all talk about it. The soundtracks
Oh great.
are great, yeah, and the fact that I mean, the this was before open world games and stuff
Yeah.
were really big. I know Shenmue was out and all that stuff, but um, we would you could play it and it was fun, and I would look around like all the like the backgrounds and stuff and just be
Yeah.
like, oh, I wish I could skate over there and
Mm.
stuff. But I mean, the graphics were still they were amazing, and the gameplay was natural, if that makes sense. Like
It
You
was.
just
It kind of was. It was a very arcade sort of experience.
yeah.
It was all like 2 minutes score attack sort of
Mhm.
systems, but you could play for a lot longer than 2 minutes if you were smart.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
each level had a 2 minute time structure, and you had missions based around it. I don't know why I'm explaining this. Everyone knows Tony
Everyone
Hawk,
knows how
but
to
it doesn't
describe.
matter anyway. But you'd have this structure, and
Uh,
I remember once on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on Schoolyard, I think,
mhm.
or on School 2, I think it was, or whatever it
Right.
was, where you obviously drop in, and then you're flying around trying to get all the letters and all that, and you've got
Right.
2 minutes, but then obviously you can exceed the time if you decide to keep a manual or a grind or something going along like that, and that's how
Right.
you obviously combo to hell to get that million
Oh,
score,
yes.
because they were
That.
always the hardest ones to do. But then once you realise that, I mean,
Oh.
they improved the function with the third game with the reverting. So
Mhm.
if you were able to revert, like to do reverts and then into a manual combination, you could keep things going for ages. And
Yes.
I remember I remember doing that once where obviously like you would manual so long like the bar itself would come so hard to control that you're literally like constantly
Yeah.
tapping left or right to keep it
Yes.
centered.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Ah.
see, look at this is our
Ah.
childhood right
That's
here.
what I'm telling you. I'm telling you this. Like I was sitting here before we got on air, and I was kind of joking around and kind of making fun of everybody being like, "Oh, Tony Hawk, oh my goodness," and everything. But then
Mm,
again, here I am going, "Oh my gosh, the combos were so
they
fun."
were fun. It was just a really fun game, and
It was. It was.
I'm trying to remember who the hidden characters were in two, because I know one of
Oh
them
my
was
god.
Spider Man,
Right.
one of them was
Oh,
Officer Dick, I believe.
yeah. God, I
And
can't
who
even
was like the
remember.
crazy? Oh, it was the Never. Oh, it was the Neversoft Eye.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How have I remembered
What
that
a
after all
that
these
is a
years?
deep pull. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, it was just literally the
Oh,
Neversoft logo eye, just on
oh
on
my
a
god.
person. It was just an eye
Yes.
instead of a head. It
Oh
was so
man.
weird.
I'm so excited now. I was excited anyway, but then I didn't let myself like think too much on it
Yeah, me
because
neither.
everyone was getting hyped and I'm like, I'm so cynical. I'm like, I'm
No,
not gonna join in on the hype.
I
And
was.
now I'm like, oh, I remember.
I've been waiting for this just so I can talk about it and not feel like I'm part of a
Oh,
crowd. It's just like,
I know exactly. I'm such a dork.
oh, me too, me too. But I still remember that very first time that you go in and play Warehouse on Tony Hawk's 1. Even though
Yes.
Tony Hawk's 1
Yes.
wasn't that great of a game going back, it's just
Right.
still Warehouse is just like the epitome of awesome
Yes.
levels. Like it was so perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Oh man.
See, I'd switch between Tony Hawk and then the Simpsons Taxi or whatever it was called. Not, it was like Crazy Taxi, but it was
Oh,
Simpsons Road
Road
Rage.
Rage. Yep.
Simpsons Road Rage. Yep.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that oh gosh, yeah.
Oh my
Ah, good
days.
times, good
I mean,
times. Okay, I'm excited.
with exception, yeah, I'll mention one last thing. We mentioned about the soundtracks. This is how like
Yes.
I discovered a lot of the bands on
Hmm.
there. Like I know Motorhead are like a massive thing, but like that was one of the first
Yeah.
times that you heard Ace of Spades, and
Right.
you got Rage
Yes.
Against the Machines, Gorilla Radio
Yep.
on there as like the main theme for Tony
Yep.
Hawk's 2, and it's like, oh my god,
Oh,
all these great bands.
yep. So of its time. That was so crazy.
I know, but
Uh,
apparently only 5 tracks are not coming back from those two games. So I
oh, that's
don't,
not too bad.
I don't know which ones, and I don't want to find out because, to be
Well, I'll
honest
tell
with
you
you,
this.
if they haven't got Gorilla Radio on there, I'm writing.
But I'll tell you this. Goldfinger did a uh, quarantine concert on YouTube,
Yeah,
and they played the song from that soundtrack. I
awesome, and they've been confirmed to
blanked
be
out on
in
it,
that
but
soundtrack as well.
yeah,
They're coming
yeah,
back. I knew that, so that was actually in the trailer as well.
you're right. I know I've now got Goldfinger's other song stuck in my head now. So.
I was never a big fan of Goldfinger, to be honest.
The thing is, they have such a kind of brass, upbeat sound,
Yeah,
and it's not quite ska, but it almost is, and ska was on its way out at that
Yeah,
time.
it's really trying
So
hard to be ska music, but it's not.
yeah, but
Like,
it's not quite. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's not quite
And
like I'm trying to think who it was, like Real Big Fish or someone like
right,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Right,
god, I
right.
haven't thought about them for years.
I know. Well, welcome to our late 1990s fan cast. Late 1990s, early 2000s, where
Well,
we
well,
discuss
yeah,
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and
yeah, yeah. Well, welcome to 1996 quite bitter beings.
oh my gosh.
Oh, I was
Wow.
actually going to make a really bad one there by saying 96. I'm trying to think of the right term to use, so that's why I didn't make the joke. 96 quite nostalgic beings.
oh gosh, yeah, there you go.
That was what I was going for. It wasn't funny, clearly.
oh,
Okay, moving on.
oh my goodness.
Can I interest you with a fact about this though? So a side fact
Yes.
that actually Tony Hawk dropped the tweet down on his birthday.
Oh,
The
really?
12th of May,
Yeah.
1968, he was born. So not only is
Wow.
he's 1 year and 1 day older than my mum.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
He's also the same age as my house,
yeah,
which is
51.
considered like a antique. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That
yeah,
dude's amazing.
yeah. I know, it's crazy. He's like 52 and he's still going strong on the
Yeah,
skateboarding.
absolutely. Oh,
Also, I was checking out the facts. Did you know something? Right, there's quite an iconic move of Tony's that's not actually featured in the first game.
okay. Which one is it?
Uh,
'Cause
the 900 rotation.
I should have known that. I should have known
Yeah.
that.
Do you know why?
Oh, why? Oh, because of the speed of the PS1?
No, because they had it in the
Oh,
second game, which was also on the
yeah.
PS1.
Oh, that's right. It is,
Because
isn't it?
because it happened 2 months or a couple of months before the
Oh,
first game came out, or it was around about the time that they didn't have enough time to program it
it
in the
wouldn't have.
game.
Yeah. God, that was amazing.
And also, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was actually the first game over here was just Tony Hawk's skateboarding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because they thought that we'd be talking about ice skating if we said
Oh
Pro
my god.
Skater.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like you wouldn't have known who Tony Hawk was. He was huge even then.
Yeah,
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
That was the dumb part of it, though. You gotta love
Yes.
marketers, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. You and your Teenage Mutant
Hero
Hero
Turtle.
Turtles.
Give you a bloody Hero Turtle in a minute. That still annoys me to this day, honestly. I'm not
Oh,
even joking.
yeah, yeah. Well, definitely as an American trying to understand why Ninja was not there and Michelangelo's nunchucks
Yeah.
were like erased out or whatever.
But yeah, there was a problem with the word ninja, but we let that song Go Ninja Go to happen to come up
Yeah.
in our charts. Get out! Stupid Vanilla Ice.
Oh, if I ever have a wedding, which I won't, but if I ever do, I'm totally playing Go Ninja Go.
And that'll be the minute I walk out of it if I'm invited. Just be like,
Oh,
right,
so
Kylie, it was cool,
disgusting.
but Go Ninja Go, Go Ninja out.
I bet I could hire Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, he'd probably only want a couple of foul.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
That's if he hasn't been sued to oblivion by now.
Oh, and he has. So,
I rest my case.
oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed that trip through 1990s.
Trip down our psyche, more like.
Yeah. Oh my
Blimey.
gosh.
We've literally talked about everything we like today, haven't we? It was like, oh, samurai movies. Oh, Tony Hawk. Oh, Paper Mario.
Oh,
You can
that's
tell
why
this is a
our
nice
light episode. Yeah. Yep, yep. Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
Well, I think that does it for the news,
Yeah, sure. For
which
sure.
means we head to our next segment, which is going to be incredibly short. The You Got This segment, which is our 2 minute segment that's never really 2 minutes, but maybe less than this time.
Fingers crossed for 2 minutes. With today, we
Yeah,
might live up to the promise.
yeah. So if you've got money riding on this, pay attention.
Right, I'll give you 8 to 11 on this is going beyond 2 minutes.
You know what's terrible? Even though I'm pretty decent at math, I've never been good at odds and ratios.
Basically, what if I was to give it an 8 to 11 on, so 8 over 11, that means it's a favourite. It
Oh,
means
okay.
so basically, if you were gonna invest £8
You
or
would
eight
get
dollars, you would get 11
a
back,
lot of that.
basically.
Yeah, see, if
So
I
it's
think of
not
it like
much
the
of a
stock
profit in
market
that way.
profit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Whereas if you were to do something at 2 to 1, if you were to put a
Hmm.
dollar on it, then you're gonna double your money, pretty much.
Right. Ah, okay. Double or nothing.
Yes, I
Um,
worked in the bookies. I should know this.
exactly.
To all those Americans, bookies, bookmakers. You
Oh,
get them in casinos over there all the time.
oh my gosh, I do have to say this doesn't count as you got this, but
It still
when
does. I'm still counting.
when I first came over here,
Yeah.
when I very first visited over here, which was like 10 years now,
Mm.
um, I come from obviously a very, we're going to say religious, for lack of a better word, area in the U.S., which is East Texas.
Yeah.
Um, Gambling is outlawed in every single form that you could
Okay.
even, we can't even do school raffles, or
What?
we couldn't when I was there. Yeah, because
Ugh.
that's considered, yeah, that's considered gambling. Which is weird because we're right next to Louisiana, and if you know anything about Louisiana, it's the like casinos and
And
yeah, it's New Orleans and
they got no
ships.
rules.
Yeah. And so then I come over here and I saw this like shop called like Ladbrokes or whatever.
Ladbrokes,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it was like betting shop or something, was the subhead. And I just remember asking my friends, I'm like, what is that? And then I'd start to see like people on like Twitter and stuff, or just in social media,
Yeah.
were talking about how they were betting that, I don't know, the prince was gonna marry the chick he married, Wadey Tweety. Yeah, American. I'm sorry, guys. But they're like, oh, there's like a 2 to 1 odds that he's going to marry her, and then
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And I'm like, what is any of this? And then they told me, they're like, we bet on everything.
Yep,
You
we
just
do.
walk in and yeah. And I was like, what? And you're not burning?
No, do you want to know what the funny thing was, though?
What?
When I was working for reputable bookmaker Coral, yeah, I
Mhm.
say that, reputable. Yeah, right. It's nothing reputable about their business at all. Um, I mean that for all betting shops, not just Coral.
Right.
So when I was working there, it was around about the time when William and Kate had married,
Right?
and they were due to have their first child. So they were putting bets on the name of the child, the gender, everything.
Oh my gosh, that is so the opposite of everything I know. It's one of
It's
those things that it's just like, what?
it's
I
so
don't
weird.
understand. It's very
Yeah,
strange,
I
but
mean, the funny thing was though is that like when I because of how much experience I've had in betting shops for
mhm,
working like nearly 2.5 years in one,
right.
um, and the multiple different ones that I used to go to. When I went to Las Vegas last year and I saw like how it was in a casino, I was like, this is super weird to me. Like I don't get this at all. It's like all those boards with odds and everything like that on there.
Oh
We never
gosh,
have
yeah.
anything like that. We still live in the age of let's put a newspaper up on the wall for form guides. But they've got like
Oh,
the thing is they've got them all on this massive screen next to like all these racing and like stuff that you can
yeah.
bet on next to it. It's like, and
God.
it's not just like certain times, is it? It's 24 hours exactly how it is in the
Wow.
casinos. It's so odd.
That's odd. Ha, ha, ha.
That wasn't intentional. I apologise.
Okay, so back to you got this. Now start the timer. Um,
Right, let's go.
okay, so we are still in lockdown. I know that the U.S. has lifted some restrictions.
We
I
have
know
to.
that, yeah, and I know that the mainland Britain has eased up a bit. I'm currently located in Northern Ireland where they're not letting up.
Good. To
Yeah,
be
which
honest with you,
is,
they should do that.
yeah,
I watched Boris's speech last week,
it was very confusing,
and I didn't stay for the whole thing. I was due to go out on a
right?
walk, and I went, nope, this has annoyed
Yeah,
me now. I've got to get outside because otherwise I'll
yeah,
scream.
yeah,
Because the minute I've been supportive about the whole situation, the only thing that I wasn't supportive of was the response time initially, which I thought was
yes,
pretty bad. But with
yes,
his speech the other day, lifting some restrictions off of being able to travel out of your own county to
yeah,
go for a walk, nah, so wrong, so
yeah.
very wrong.
I'm going to be very honest with any listeners out there that, everyone's entitled to their opinion, absolutely. Um, but I am actually part of the vulnerable population. I have a compromised immune system due to
Yeah,
an autoimmune disorder that I have.
yeah, of course.
And I did some reading. I went ahead and read about, because I like science. Science makes me feel better. So I went and read about the actual virus itself. No politics, no numbers, no nothing,
Yeah,
from mainstream news. I went and read about the virus itself. It's not a respiratory virus.
is
It
it not?
attacks. It's not.
Okay,
And
that's interesting because the news has been talking about it being
yeah,
respiratory all the time.
yeah, and that's why you don't hear a lot about the ventilators now. It's because the ventilators were giving people a kind of like too much oxygen.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. And I encourage anyone, I mean, always question everything, which means question me as well. Go read up for yourself as well.
Yeah.
But it is a virus that attacks the immune system, the autoimmune response system. I mean,
Oh,
all
right.
of them,
That'd be
everything
why you're on high
attacks.
risk then.
Yes, exactly. So for me, regardless of, if the restrictions were 100% lifted today, I am in lockdown personally until at least the end of this year because I don't want to die.
No, and to be honest with you, I don't want to find a new podcast co-host.
Yeah, that would be tough, man. No one could replace me.
I could probably think of a few people who could, but not quite to the same degree though.
Right, right. But so really what I'm talking about with this you got this section is just take care of yourselves. Yes, always listen and learn as much as you can, but
Question
go
everything.
question everything, find out for yourself, find out what works for you. Some
Yeah.
people, they are fine going out, walking around and interacting with other people and not social distancing. I'm
Hmm.
personally not one of them, and there's probably some listeners out there that aren't either. They have underlying conditions.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't, and I don't want to see people. To be honest,
yeah,
like, I
um,
mean, I want to see my partner, but I'm not willing to
yeah,
make anyone get ill because, well,
right.
it's what I was saying to you in the week. Like, my dad's kind of high risk.
Hmm.
Her stepdad's parents are very high risk. So
Right.
if I give it to her and she gives it to him and he gives it to them, they're dead.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, I couldn't have that on my conscience to be honest.
No. So do what's best for you, whatever that entails. Check, of course, with your own personal doctor.
Yeah,
Always remember to try your best at social distancing. I know it sucks. I know it does. As even though I'm kind of what you call asocial, which is I kind of avoid crowds and stuff. Antisocial means something totally
yeah.
different, by the way. It's not antisocial, it's asocial. Um, but even I'm missing my workouts uh, where I go to the gym and I can't go to the gym and work out. So even that's starting to kind of weigh on me.
Yeah.
Uh, so I get it. Take I think you get 2 hours of exercise now. Um,
Um, I don't think there's a time limit on it now,
oh,
which is
okay.
what they were going for.
Right.
Really, you know, because originally it was just an hour. I think there's an unlimited time scale, so long as it's not taking the mick, obviously,
Right.
and you're not obviously trying to, you know,
Mhm.
trying to interact with anyone that's not on a 2 meter you know, because you can meet
Yeah.
people from outside your household now, but only one
Hmm.
person, so long as you're observing social distancing. But
Exactly. Yeah.
I just don't think there's any point. You might as well just,
See, now that's kind of where I'm coming from as well. I mean, like, I'm also facing the fact that I can't open my business up just yet.
yeah,
And I could if I put all these, social distancing things in place, but then why, that's a lot of work for decreasing just a tiny bit. I mean, I'm ending up increasing my risk. And I'm not a normal,
yeah,
healthy individual. I mean, I'm healthy, but, I do have an underlying problem.
yeah, exactly. And I don't
And
think it's
it's just
worth
not
the
worth
risk,
it.
to be honest.
Exactly.
Like all for
Exactly.
the sake of a bit of money.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I'm luckier than most, and I do realize that. But I'm okay financially. But I know some of you out there are probably not in the best position. Just be sure to take full uh, access of all government funds that are available to you.
Yeah,
Um, I'm happy. I've told Pete before I pay two countries' taxes.
hmm,
I pay taxes to two countries, and I'm more than happy to do that. I don't have any issue with that.
yeah,
So, yeah, go and get all the help you need. Stay in contact with your doctors. If you have a mental health practitioner, stay in contact with them. I speak to mine over the phone.
yeah.
Um, and they've been told essentially here in Northern Ireland that it's going to be for the rest of the year. So we're
Mm,
gonna Yeah. So we're probably going to end up switching to like Zoom and, all the different video type things.
yeah,
Because it's very hard for someone like me. You know, being autistic, I don't like phones. I hate them. I don't like talking on phones. I just don't like them. It's
yeah,
very anxiety inducing. So, a video conference is easier for me. I can actually, feel a little bit better about it. That's not true for everyone. Some people prefer phone over video. So, do what's right for you is the
yeah.
theme for this.
I have
Yeah.
no preference, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can
Um,
understand why people have a preference, especially like yourself.
yeah. Like, if I get to know someone, like you and I can speak over, this stuff and it's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like earlier on in the week where like all
yeah,
this stuff was
exactly.
going on, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to talk to someone quickly because this is
Yes,
annoying me,
exactly.
and that was based on the fact that oh my god, all this stuff is still going on with Sony. Do I feel like an absolute idiot for wanting Ghost of Tsushima now?
Right, exactly.
Like,
Um,
do
and
I
so
feel
that,
like I should boycott? Do I feel like I should do this? And it's just weird. It was
yeah.
weird.
But I mean, that that is fine for me. But then to actually speak with strangers, and yes, okay, I've seen the same therapist for a while now, but she's still a stranger to me in my autistic brain. Um,
They always
I
are,
don't,
I'm afraid.
yeah, I don't feel as comfortable. So for me, I will have to do video. But coming back to the original point, which is this week, you just do what is best for you. Um,
You should always do what's best for you, but especially at the
but
moment, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, with so much conflicting information out there, I mean, my home country is saying one thing, my new country is saying another thing. Hey, Northern Ireland is off to itself saying a completely separate thing.
Yeah.
So you have to go through and say, look, you know what? Shut out all the voices.
Yep.
Let me look at this rationally. What is best for me?
Okay.
And do that.
Yep.
Just don't worry because we got this and we are all in this together.
We are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that was definitely longer than 2 minutes, but like we
Yeah,
always
well,
say, your mental health isn't just a 2 minute thing, is
yes,
it?
that's right.
We always make the joke about it. We're gonna make this 2 minutes this week. Now
Yeah.
we never do, but
Uh,
that's because you need as long as you need to get yourself into
yes,
the right possible mindset.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Take a breath, take a moment, take a chill, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll move on because we usually do at this point,
Yeah.
obviously. Wow,
Topics
we're
that
so
I
bad
know.
today. This is
I
awful.
know. It's just brain fried.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I think I used all of my brains for the month from last week's
I,
episode.
I think so. I think so. I did as well.
Okay, so today we're going to talk movies, which is why we were
Woo.
talking movies at the
Yeah.
beginning of the episode for a while.
Yeah, if you're a keen observer, we almost always give away the topic at the top of the show without even like it's not intentional. We just do it.
No, it is not intentional, but it always seems to happen, you know.
It does.
But
It does.
actually, the theme is video game movies, obviously, which we
Yes.
haven't mentioned about because I've mentioned Wolf of Wall Street, Zatoichi, and a couple of others.
There was a Wall Street game on the Nintendo.
Yeah. I meant Wolf of Wall Street, not Wall Street Money Never Sleeps.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh, how did you?
Because that was the name of the sequel.
Oh
That's
my
why I
gosh.
knew it. And it still had the original. Did it have? It didn't have Charlie. Did it still have Charlie Sheen in it? The sequel. I'm trying to remember. I know it had Michael Douglas,
It
even
did
though
have Michael
even
Douglas.
though he was very very ill at that time.
Yeah, it was a awful, awful movie. Although to be fair, I didn't like the first one.
I've never seen it.
It's it's very 80s.
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't Charlie Sheen. It was Shia LaBeouf.
Oh my god.
That's even worse.
That's why I avoided it. I've never seen to this day, and this is still tangentially about video games, but I've never seen Indiana Jones 4: The Crystal Skull because I would not want to destroy my illusions with that, but also I don't know, I like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Well, just don't.
Right.
That's all
Yeah.
I need to
No.
say about it is that
Yeah.
you don't
Do you
need to
know
see it.
they're making another one?
I know, it's been on cards for years.
Don't understand. I don't understand. They're also not great games either. I kind of liked Temple of Doom, the arcade one,
Mm,
but
that wasn't
that was like a
bad.
million years ago. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was at a, I think I was at a theme park, and they had an arcade. Well, we would call an arcade, but you guys
Would call
use
it an
arcade in a
arcade.
different way. I don't know. There's this thing here called the Queen's Arcade, and it's just like a strip mall
2p
under.
drops.
Do what?
The old 2p coin drops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like that. They're all like seaside town sort of fun games
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
stuff rather than actual video game arcades.
Yeah, it's very strange to me. But
They were
but
still
yeah.
arcades.
Yeah. I miss arcades.
Yeah, so do
Come
I.
back. Yeah.
Well,
Those are not movies.
I've got I've got an arcade up here. It's obviously been closed for ages because of bloody
Right.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
Wash your damn hands, people. All right.
Yes.
But yeah, that place has been closed because of this virus, and I'm missing it, to be honest, because they had
Yeah.
all the old Street Fighters and loads of
Oh,
old
yeah.
arcade cabinets. It's where I got to play F-Zero AX for the first time as well.
Man.
Yeah, I just wish the GameCube memory card function was working in that, because then I could take my old cars, which would have been cool.
That is true.
Yeah.
One of my goals is to own an arcade cabinet and redo it up.
Yeah, me
Like I want to
too.
get like I don't want to get like a beautiful pristine one. I want one that I need to work on.
Yeah, so
But
do I. I did tell you about the arcade machines that I've been trying to get off of a shop near me.
yes,
You know,
yes.
I want that X-Men versus Street Fighter cabinet
Oh,
so bad, but he will not sell
it
it.
will. Mm-mm. Ah, ah, ah.
I mean,
That's not movies though.
no. moving on to movies, however.
Video game movies have never been great. Yep, I said it.
We agree.
Yes.
There's been a couple of ones that are better than most,
Yes.
but they're still on the. With exception to, I would say, two, there are mostly bad or mostly cheesy, or barely reflect the source material in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
The okay ones are Mortal Kombat,
Yeah, the
the
first
first one. Because actually the story on that pretty much follows beats for beat the actual storyline from the main game, and
Right.
at least it was humorous. They knew that it was kind of
Yeah.
campy, so they went with it.
Yes, and
It's
the soundtrack is amazing.
well, yeah, of course it is. I mean, everyone knows the song by Prodigy, you know that, or
Oh
whoever it
yeah.
was that did
It
it.
wasn't Prodigy, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the thing that was going around for a long time. Is it was Prodigy, and it's still labelled wrong, and it annoys me because
Yeah.
I still think it is, which is annoying. Um, well, yeah, I mean, everyone knows that piece of music because they've even referenced it in the games now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird. But other than that, most of them suck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it pains me to say that the very first example of it was the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it's still one of the worst as well.
Oh, well, that thing was poison from the get-go.
Yeah,
For
God.
some reason.
Well, I could go over some stories of that. Jeez.
Oh
What?
my gosh. I just now, to be fair, when like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, I did think that they were kind of a cool choice for
Well, Hoskins is an
Mario and Luigi.
amazing choice, like as Mario. Like he's a great
Yeah.
actor, like,
Yep.
but also he's got. I hate to say, he's got the right build for Mario too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of like hinting at.
Okay.
And he looked good in red, and Leguizamo looked good in green, and he was tall and lanky the way Luigi is. So
Yeah.
that about stops at the positive points
Yeah.
of this game. I mean, of
No,
this
because
movie.
no,
Uh-huh.
hold on. Now I'm gonna stop you there because that's not where it stops, is it? There is one other good aspect. One
Is it
other.
because what's his face is in it?
No, you mean
Oh,
you mean Dennis Hopper.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You mean Dennis Hopper as Bowser? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Ugh, I
Uh,
just ugh.
my the point I was gonna make is that
Mhm.
I mean she doesn't look great anymore, but Samantha Mathis
Yeah,
as Daisy was quite good.
she was good,
She
and
was
I
a good
did
looking
like the
lady.
character choice.
Yeah, I
They
didn't
made her
like
kind of
tomboyish.
say that again. You cut out right
Okay,
the end
yeah,
of
they
it.
made her a bit tomboyish.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of liked that. Um,
yeah,
I like that new take on it because she wasn't just a damsel in distress, even though I think Luigi has to save her at some point, which is weird.
there's only one point where she does have to be saved, and it is by Luigi, which is a bit
Yeah,
weird. It's like the weird thing for me is that Luigi's like not the coward; it's Mario.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
That,
strange.
but again, that's due to the script being written by someone who, well, I
Idiots.
think it was a couple, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a couple who thought they were like the greatest thing since sliced bread and didn't actually know anything um about the Mario lore at all.
Or any video games, because they didn't play them.
No, they didn't. And actually, I think they went on record and said video games were stupid.
Yes, they did, and I just it just went downhill from that. Basically, they were given names and character traits, and
Yeah, and not an actual plot.
yeah, and it just is. Oh my gosh! If
Mm.
you've not seen it, I take some mushrooms and watch it.
I think that's
No,
probably the
I'm
only way
not.
to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not actually encouraging drug use. So it's
No, of
purely
course.
tongue in cheek. But
Yeah, we know, we know.
yeah, I always feel like I have to cover our bouteilles.
I know we do. It's annoying how
Yeah,
we have to do that nowadays. But I've got an interesting couple of stories from what I learnt about this.
sure.
There is actually a shot early on in the movie where they're just about to get into their really weird van that they have. And
Yes.
actually, you can see that Bob Hoskins has got a fatter arm. That's because
Right.
he broke his arm during the
Yeah.
recording of the movie because Leguizamo accidentally slammed his arm in the van, and
Yeah.
they painted the cast flesh colored.
Oh my gosh. Wasn't one of them drunk like the whole
No,
time?
no, it was both of them.
Oh my.
Both Leguizamo and like both
Oh.
wasn't Hopper, it was, oh god, you've even said it and I'm even blanking on it now.
Bob Hoskins
That's
or
the Hoskins,
yeah.
yeah. Both Hoskins and Leguizamo were constantly drunk throughout the film, and
Yeah.
they were just challenging each other to get more and more drunk.
Yep. Yep. Oh gosh. Oh
That's
dear.
why it's such a mess as well. The whole
Oh.
production was all over the place. It was so badly done.
Oh.
But it still does have one of my favourite lines in all of cheesy movie history.
Which would be what?
It's where Mario is in a club
Oh gosh.
and he goes up to Big
Oh.
Bertha.
Oh my gosh.
He says, "Hey, my name's Mario. Um, the family lamb can of spam or something along those lines," and then he gets
Yes.
punched in the face.
Yes. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Like
It's so weird, that film.
it's a strange film. It's
Yeah. Also,
it's
go on,
mhm.
go on,
Well,
go on.
I'm
No,
just gonna tell our audience that there's all kinds of, biographies or whatever
yeah,
you want to call it, documentaries about it. So
yep.
go have a watch of that. I can't encourage you to watch the actual movie
No, I
because it's
actually I can.
okay.
No,
You
because
do that.
honestly, it is a riot just at how bad it is. Just to watch it
It's
for, the
off.
sake of just laughing at it. It is so funny.
Oh my gosh, it is completely awful. But
So I had a
one that
couple. I did have one
okay,
more
yeah,
thing I
go
wanted
ahead.
to mention, or two
Absolutely.
things at least.
Yes.
The first one is that they decided to put Yoshi in the movie. And it's just a real dinosaur. It's so
I
weird.
know.
It looks
I
so
didn't
out of
understand.
place. I
It
think the
was weird.
I think the bit where Yoshi gets shot as well is so weird.
Yeah. It's just like it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
It just it's so just everything is wrong.
Okay, and the last thing, if you do decide to go and watch it, when it comes to the point later on in the film where they finally put their suits on, the old classic dungarees,
Yep.
they get them the wrong way round, so Luigi's in red.
Gosh.
It is
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny how
Oh,
badly they stuffed this
they
film up.
just they did. It was arrogance. Arrogance destroyed it.
It
That's really what it comes
it
down
did.
to.
Oh, it's
Because
hilarious
if you
though.
watch, yeah, if you watch some of the interviews they gave, they as in the creators, not the actors,
Yeah.
they say that they were creating art, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, guys, no, it's not.
No,
It's
it
so bad.
is
I mean,
not.
art's up into interpretation. I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
someone that it's not art, but oh,
Okay. Tagline for this film, according to the poster. Do you
mm-hmm.
remember it?
No,
This ain't no game.
oh gosh, oh my gosh. Doesn't he say that? Bob Hoskins says
I'm
that.
sure he does. I'm really sure he does. Oh dear. Okay,
Ugh.
we'll move on. What film shall we tackle next?
We're going to tackle Street Fighter.
I'm so glad you did. Oh yes, because actually I was watching Adam's Family yesterday, and Raul
Oh my
Julia's in that,
gosh.
and I was like, Raul Julia's awesome.
See that? I mean, we've talked about it before, but guys, okay. Jean-Claude Van Damme is the star.
I
Yeah,
can't help but laugh at it.
he's something else. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme was a stunt person. Did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was the first Predator?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Yeah, he
Uh,
hated the suit because he couldn't actually do
yep.
anything in it, so he turned the role down.
Yep. Which I'm kind of glad because I saw a still of him in the suit and it's laughable.
Oh, of
There's
course it is.
nothing scary about the Predator. The
No,
Predator terrified me as a child.
yep.
It wouldn't have if it had been the original
Okay,
costume.
pop quiz for you then. Who did
hmm
they choose to become the Predator then after that?
I, it was a really big guy, but I don't remember his name.
Nobody knows his name. That's the trick question. Nobody cares. It was just a big dude.
He's just a big old dude.
That was all it
Oh,
was. It was just they chose some big dude to fill that
yeah,
suit.
yep, and he did. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, did he?
Predator. It's one of my favorite movies. I'm
Oh,
so
you
cheesy.
are one ugly motherfucker.
So good.
I know. I'm gonna have to bleep that. I know. But even though I said
Yes.
fugger.
All right. um, when I was back in Texas, there was a lot. There was it was like Madame Tussauds wax museum.
Oh yeah.
We have a version of that. It was in San Antonio, I believe.
Okay.
Um, and they had like the section that was for like it wasn't for adults only, but it had a warning like, oh, you need to be aware there's flashing lights and scary things and blah blah blah. I was like 6 or 7, but right on top of the entrance, which is an all black like tunnel you go through,
Yeah.
was the predator just
Awesome.
looking down at you, mouth open. I was just like, no, I'm not going in there. I'm not
Right.
going.
Nope. I'm out.
I'm out.
Next thing you know, it's just a bed like in the next area with John Hurt with a xenomorph out of his chest.
It would not surprise me if that was in there.
Like,
Oh
I
god.
love that because like just a bit of movie trivia for you that actually
Mhm.
John Hurt and Ridley Scott were the only two that knew about that
Yes,
situation. So
yes,
all
those
the
reactions.
reactions are real.
Yes. Oh, and the knife hand game.
Yeah,
That was a real knife.
yeah, it was.
Love that movie too.
That is so
Okay, we're supposed to
disturbing
be
that these productions are allowed to happen. Yeah, it's like the same thing with The Shining, where like Kubrick wanted
Yeah.
genuine fear from Shelley Duvall,
Oh,
so it was just like we're going to take this like 1,000 times. She ended up with
she was
PTSD.
traumatized. Yeah, yeah, she
It's
was.
mental, but that scene is so iconic. Where
It
her
is.
reaction makes it alone, and I love it. I love it, but it's
Yeah.
I can't believe the sort of stuff he put her through just to do that though.
Oh, now that right there, he was um an artist. I love most of his work,
Oh, so do
but
I.
he saw his actors as an extension of his art medium.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's why he always got the
yeah.
best out of them, but he always
Yes.
treated them quite badly doing so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
had he been making movies in this day and age, I don't think he would have got away with a lot of the stuff that he done.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
He would have been Me Too'd about 1,000 times by now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
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 So,
But
Street Fighter.
back to Street Fighter. God, it's gonna be a ride this episode, so
This really is the roller coaster episode.
it really is. So yeah, Street Fighter, Jean-Claude Van Damme, not the strongest actor in the world. Perfect though in a way, um, because he was very good, or no, he is very good at kickboxing, and
Yeah. He's a
I
great martial artist. Yeah,
yes,
brilliant.
his daughter's amazing too,
Oh yeah.
oh, and beautiful. Not that that matters, but she's
I
very
wouldn't know.
talented.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, but so that part was good, and then but the surprise of it all was Raul Julia, as you alluded to.
Oh man, this story makes me cringe
It
so bad at how like how
I
what he
know.
went through for this. This is crazy, and but a man
It was
true to my
just
heart about a craft. You know, the love of the
yes,
craft.
absolutely. I mean, he was at death's door. He
He,
was,
he had
and
stomach cancer, was it?
I think so. Yeah. I know it was cancer. I was thinking it was lung cancer, but you know what? I think you're right. I think it
Yeah,
was
because he
stomach
wasn't able
cancer.
to eat a lot, and his weight kept
Yeah.
like going down as he was on the film, and
Yep.
they had to bulk him up like as well in the suit.
Yeah. And that iconic scene of him where he's talking to Chun-Li
Oh
that we have
yes,
quoted before. Oh God, just chills, you know.
yeah.
Ugh. But
The day your father died was the most impactful day of your life, and it changed you forever. For me, it was just a Tuesday.
yep.
I think
It
it
was
was something along
Tuesday.
those lines of what he
Yeah.
means. Yeah.
Well, it's like for you, the day Bison graced your village was the
Oh
most
yeah, yeah.
important day of your
Oh
life.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's
for
the one.
me, it was a Tuesday. And
So
it's
the
like,
delivery is also it's just
oh,
so perfect.
it's so perfect. And then after they filmed that scene, he like collapsed. He just
Yeah.
had all of his energy up for that.
Mm,
Oh, just an amazing actor. For real, if you don't know much about Raul Julia, go through, find his old stuff. He is one of the most talented.
mm.
He could be charming, he could be comedic, he could be terrifying.
Well, he did all of
Just,
that in the Addams Family alone.
well, that's true. Completely versatile actor.
Yeah,
Just, there is no one like him. And yeah,
he's
just,
he
oh,
we lost a true great when he went, and I feel so bad that his last film was Street Fighter.
I know. But
Oh.
we can definitely say he delivered a beautiful performance.
Yeah, he was like
Um,
the only thing that's
I was
worth
gonna
watching
say
in that entire film. Because believe
the
you me,
only positive.
Kylie Minogue's Cammy, no. John Claude, this is like serious miscasting. You're casting an Australian as an English person, a Belgian
Yep,
as an American.
yep,
Well done.
I know. It was some of the. It's weird because it was some of the worst casting, and yet we come back to the
Some
best
of the most
casting for
inspired,
Bison.
yeah.
But there were offshoots of that movie. Chun-Li had her own uh, solo movie, not that
The
long.
Legend of Chun
Yeah, it
Li
was,
with what's his Chris Klein, was it, from
yeah,
American Pie as Nash? Oh my
yeah,
god!
and the girl playing Chun-Li was a popular actress at the time. I've forgotten her
She was
name.
from Smallville. I can't.
Yes,
Oh god,
Smallville, that's it.
what was her damn name? I think it was the person who played Lana. Was it? I think in that
Yeah,
show.
yes, because she showed up in Chuck as well, which is one of my favorite TV shows.
Yeah,
But she was being Lana at the same time, so it was just kind of
yeah.
like.
What is her name now? That's the one. Kristen Kyuk. Or
Yes.
Crook, or whatever, how you pronounce
Yeah,
her name.
that's it. Yeah. And as someone who has always been looking for movies that highlight strong females, just because of my own personal,
Yeah,
I like to, what is it, representation? I like to see
yeah,
representation. I was so disappointed in this movie. I was so disappointed.
yeah.
It's
It's the worst, honestly. It is
it's
so terrible. I mean, the
yeah,
first Street Fighter movie's bad enough, but this one is like. The thing about it is, at least the first Street Fighter is slightly entertaining because it's campy. This one
right.
is not entertaining because it's just.
No.
It's so boring. And
Yes.
it's not even got cheesy factor on its side,
No.
like, to keep it going. It's just dull.
I'm gonna be very honest here and say it's something like you would find on late 90s Cinemax, which we called Skinemax.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too. I was literally just
Yeah,
about to say what you mean, Skinamax.
yeah. It's cheesy, but not the good way. Just boring.
Like,
Just
it's the sort
boring.
of thing
Yeah.
that you see on sci-fi on this on this country all the time.
Right. You know
Yeah,
what? That would be
yeah.
very, very close to it. Yeah.
But I feel so bad about that. I mean, to be fair, the first Street Fighter has still got a great line in it as well, and you'll notice that I seem to pinpoint my enjoyment of certain parts of these on lines.
Right.
It's the
Well,
bit
of
where
course.
I can't even get through this without laughing because it's so stupid.
Oh
So
no, it's Blanca, isn't it?
sorry.
Is it Blanca?
No, it is not. But that is terrible, at least.
Oh
No, it's the bit where they're invading Bison's base, and,
gosh.
and there's a truck coming towards like the door, and it's gonna plow through it. And
Right.
Zangief is literally looking at the monitor, going, "Quick, change the channel." Doesn't realise it's real life.
Cheesy.
I know, but that's the charm of it. It's
Oh,
so dumb, but it's got some
that's the
genius
thing.
in there.
There is the charm is the
Yeah,
right word for it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna kick Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe's not gonna is gonna feel it.
Oh my gosh, it is so cheesy, guys. Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
Well, we've said, well, Pete has said watch Mario Brothers. I say give it a miss. We both say give Mortal Kombat a chance.
Yeah,
Uh, give Street Fighter a chance
yeah, but
too.
just honestly, just avoid the Legend of Chun Li because it's
Yes,
not even worth your time. It's not entertaining in any way.
no. You
Oh
have to
dear.
watch through them through the same lens that you would watch The Room through, which is
Oh,
just
perfect analogy.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, and it's just a fun night.
Yeah, I've noticed that some YouTubers have been reusing that meme again. I did not hear her. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mom. So here's an interesting thing that we should have talked about off air, but I'm going to talk about it on air.
Go
I
ahead.
did not know Mr. Tommy Wiseau uh, had a YouTube show
Yeah,
on Machinima, however you want to call that,
we'll go with
where he
Machinima, sure.
played games.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm?
It's weird, isn't it?
It's very weird because he's kidnapped by quote unquote aliens and taken to a planet and then plays games, but it's Tommy Wiseau, so he's like, oh wow, oh look at me go.
Super
Oh,
weird, like odd deliveries and all that sort of thing again. Gotta love
I don't
it.
know. I do not know why. I just adore Tommy Wiseau, and I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing.
I don't know.
Oh, but next movie, you go.
Doom.
Oh, oh,
That's
oh,
all you need to know. Ugh.
And
You know,
remember, I am a
Carl.
Doom fan.
God, I know. That's why I had to mention it because I know how much of a Doom fan you are. But blooming hell, Carl Urban and The Rock.
Yeah,
I mean, Carl
yeah.
Urban's an all right actor, but The Rock, like, this is
Oh,
like 2005 Rock after the
yeah.
Scorpion King.
Yeah, he was still seen. He was not box office bonanza. He was
No.
not quite box office poison, but he wasn't much better at
Oh,
the time.
he was like in that weird space where nobody
Mhm.
realized that he was going to turn into this massive thing. It's
Yep.
around about the time where he was making films like The Tooth Fairy.
Yes. Oh gosh. Oh
And
my
I've
God.
just reminded you of that because no one else
Oh,
ever remembers.
and it's a terrible time. Oh,
I know. It's so
oh,
bad. But believe you me, did you watch The Mummy Returns?
oh my gosh, I did.
Mostly alright movie until he turns up in a CGI mess later.
Like what was that? Because here's the thing. That was probably what, 98?
The
97,
first
98?
Mummy was 99, and well, not the
So,
first one,
okay.
but the reboot, because there was
No.
an original Mummy in 1932,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or something like that. But yeah, the Brendan Fraser reboots.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was in 99, and the other one was in 2001 or
You
2002, because
gotta
then
be kidding
Scorpion King
me.
was 2004, I believe.
Okay, so Scorpion King came out 2004. Okay, by 2004, we had good computer graphics. Remember, Terminator 2 came out in like 1992. So,
91.
90 which? 91?
91. Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
I'm gonna change your.
No,
I'm literally gonna like correct you on everything that you
no,
get
that's
wrong now,
fine.
because well,
That's what you do.
yeah, I tend to have that.
Yeah. But I don't mind because I'd rather be correct. So we had decent, computer graphic technology,
Yep.
CGI technology. And that Scorpion King was the worst, like literally the worst I've ever seen in modern uh, special effects.
Yeah, it's so terrible, isn't it? It's like, I mean, he doesn't even look like The Rock. That's the worst part of it.
No,
Is the face is so off.
and there was no reason to do that. They could have, at that time, even just grafted his face on, a CGI scorpion body. That was not like out of that was
No,
normal, you
like,
know?
I mean, if they can make a whole
Ugh.
person melt and then reform in
Yes,
1991 in Terminator 2, then they
exactly.
could do that with The Rock.
It looked like, even though it was a movie, it looked like a really bad video game at the time. It just,
I wouldn't even
oh,
disgrace video games with that, to be honest. It
oh.
looked like really early animation work on like an 80s personal computer.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. That's what it looked like.
Jesus, it was bad.
Ugh.
And that's not to say that Doom was any better.
Oh my gosh.
Look,
Yeah, so,
I'm gonna say one good thing about Doom
uh-huh.
because it's the only thing worth mentioning.
Okay.
That section when he takes the super soldier serum and it's in first person is too short and it's bloody awesome. It's actually the only
Yes.
good thing about the movie.
It's the only thing that is even remotely Doom-like,
I
you
wouldn't even
know?
say just that. It's just the way that they actually did the first person motion in that is so perfect. Like
Yes.
that even certain movies after that were trying to copy it and still not get it right. You just look
Right.
at you look at films that have come out like over that time. Since then, I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was Oh, there was a movie that was shot completely in first person that came out last decade, I believe. So over the
Um,
2010s. Uh,
I wonder if it's the game I was going to mention later.
which is
Well, it's not the entire movie, but parts of it,
yeah.
which is Gamer.
Oh god,
Which
that
came out.
film is awful.
Yeah, I have some in my pocket that are awful, that are about video games rather than actual video games,
Okay,
and that's one of them.
that's it. Hardcore Henry,
Oh my gosh!
the film that
Oh,
was shot completely in first person.
I forgot that existed.
So did I, because it was awful. It was terrible, in
Yes.
fact. But the fact is, they took what Doom had done for like no more than 5 minutes, and turned it
Hmm.
into an entire movie. And
Yeah.
that's fine. I can get on board with that because it was the only good thing about Doom.
Right.
It's like they had The Rock play this like decent like character throughout the whole film, and then suddenly hit like switches to becoming a villain, which is really weird.
Right.
And the whole thing is
I
just
don't.
so odd.
It doesn't follow the lore,
But
which again, yes, I know it's weird to say that there's lore on a Doom game, but there is.
yeah,
It
there
was
is.
at the yeah, at the time it was very, it wasn't as fleshed out as the new game has made it, but
No.
it was still there. Um, you know what I just realized I did not know, and I just looked it up to make sure. Um, the year before Doom was released, there
Yeah.
was a movie that handled it way better.
Which is?
Uh, the Chronicles of Riddick,
Oh,
which
yes.
also became an amazing Nintendo game.
Yeah, I was going to
Uh,
say, well, it wasn't just Nintendo. They had it on the PlayStation 2 and the
did
Xbox
they
as well.
really?
Yeah,
That shows you how much, like, I'm strictly on that one. It was
it was
Nintendo
GameCube. It
games.
was on the
Yeah,
GameCube, though.
and it
And
was
agreed, yeah, it's a great game.
it's a great game, and it was a good movie.
Well,
I
most
liked it.
annoyingly, most people don't seem to remember that Pitch Black was the first in that
Pitch
series.
Black, yes. Okay, to be
That
fair,
is a
Pitch
great
Black's the
film
one I'm
too.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Chronicles of
wanted to
Riddick is great
compare.
still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I meant though was to compare Pitch Black to Doom,
Yeah,
not Chronicles of Riddick, but
fair enough.
I love them. I do. I like Pitch Black. It's so good.
Yeah, that first
Um,
time that you see Riddick, like, and he's like taking out these aliens, it's like, oh my god, this is so cool.
it was so cool.
Yeah,
And the funny thing is, Vin Diesel is like a huge nerd.
yeah, he is.
You see him and stuff like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's so freaking cool.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. Oh no, I love that. Instead of watching Doom, I encourage you to watch Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick,
yeah,
and then play the Chronicles of Riddick if you get a chance.
agreed. Because
Yeah.
they are very good.
Yeah.
It's what opened my eyes to Vin Diesel being a very good actor, because
Yeah.
I didn't know if
Oh
he'd
yeah.
done anything before that, but that was the first time that I'd seen him like properly in anything. And like I said, that whole sequence where you first meet Riddick in Pitch Black is just truly
Oh
superb. It's brilliant.
yeah.
And the whole premise of it is that he has to live in the shadows because the light does something
Yes.
to him, doesn't it?
I love it.
It's
Yes.
so
So
cool. It is
cool.
so
It's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that a movie, and I keep bringing Doom up because the movie and Doom 3 suffered from this as well, both of them.
Yeah,
You
they came
wouldn't
out
think
around
that you
about the
could,
same time, didn't they?
yeah, and you wouldn't think that a movie or a game could be made using the dark because it's a visual medium. So people try to stay away from using, pitch black
Yeah.
and as in the
Very
lighting.
funny.
Yeah, and but Pitch Black was able to do it and to create suspense and all those kinds of things, whereas Doom just couldn't. It
No.
just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I was
because
just
you look at Doom 3, it's a very, very dark game, like,
yeah,
in terms of lighting and also
yes,
subject matter, but it
yeah,
doesn't make it a good game,
no.
unfortunately. And I played the BFG edition, actually, years and years ago, and I didn't like it,
Hmm.
and I've never gone back to it since.
I'm not a fan of it. A lot of people call me oh god, this was going to be a terrible joke, a heretic.
Oh, God.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I
If
get that.
you play FPSs, then you got that.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
but a lot of people call me a heretic for not liking Doom 3, especially the BFG version where they fixed the flashlight
Yeah, but
and
it's still...
gun.
Look,
I just
the
no.
problem is it's from the very bottom. That game isn't a very good game.
No,
You know, they
it's not.
abandoned what they had done with Doom, which was a kinetic
Mm-hmm.
first person shooter. They
Ooh.
turned it into a survival horror game, which
Yes.
is not fun.
Yes.
It's not fun.
No.
Um,
No.
what was I going to say about it? Ah, that was it. So you said about Pitch Black doing it well. There
Hmm.
was a game that done it well, but it took nearly 10 years for them to get it right.
Is it Perfect Dark?
No, because Pitch Black came
Or
out in
Perfect?
'99. Perfect Dark came out at the same time as well.
Oh, right.
No,
Okay.
I'm talking about suspense,
Mm-hmm.
using the darkness as an enemy,
Right.
and horror and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Space.
Oh, Dead Space. Oh my gosh, that is another series, and I'm sure it has something to do with who was the publisher and who sold what or whatever. That
Well, it's
series
EA,
that should
but
have.
it's oh god, who is it that did it? They went down. They went down. I need to check this. So go on.
Yeah, well, Dead Space. If you haven't played it, first of all, what's wrong with you? No, kidding. Um, Dead Space is fantastic, and didn't they only make one of them?
No, they made three. In
Did they
fact,
make
no, they
three?
made three of the main game, and then they also made Extraction for the Wii.
Right. Okay, okay. See, I always get Dead Space
Ah, got
and
it.
Left 4 Dead as titles
Yeah,
confused. Dead Space is amazing. It's
yeah.
just amazing. I just
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah, Visceral
Um,
Games was the one.
Visceral Games, yes,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah. That's why I couldn't
of
remember. I
course.
was like, yeah,
Yeah,
they went defunct a couple of years ago because of
yes, they
EA,
did.
because
Hmm.
of Dead Space 3 not selling well, apparently, or not up to sales
Yeah,
expectations.
and which I would say is because EA was butting their nose in too much. They
They
wouldn't let
were,
the creatives create.
yeah, they wanted like co-op in the third
Yeah,
game, and it wasn't going to work, and they tried to make it work and couldn't, and they still went through with it, added microtransactions and all that sort of
oh
thing,
yeah, it
and then
just
they expected that the game would sell 6 million copies, which doesn't happen for a single player narrative driven horror focused game.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
That's your Call of Duty numbers and stuff like that.
Well, that's what they were going for. It was a
Yeah,
shooter that had, you know, they wanted Call of Duty numbers, and it was never going to happen.
no, no. So yeah, and instead of Doom, go watch Pitch Dark or
Pitch Black.
yeah, Pitch Black. Oh my gosh, my head. And play Chronicles of Riddick and don't play Doom 3.
Yeah, yeah, and then play Dead Space after that,
And then
because
play
it's
Dead
probably
Space.
probably
Yeah.
as close as you're going to get to a Chronicles of
Yeah.
Riddick, like Pitch Black sort of style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh no, it's good. If you like lore, it's really good.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
yeah.
got them, and I've still yet to play the second and the third one, but I have played a bit of the first one. It's fantastic.
I've never played the third one. I played the first two, but I played them back to back, so they're kind of molded into
Fair enough.
to one.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I bought them cheap from like an old
yeah,
shop like near me,
yeah,
and they were like all three of them were like less than a fiver. So I was like, all together. So I
yeah,
was like, I'm just gonna buy them and play them at
exactly.
some point. So,
Absolutely.
but we're gonna move on to a turd, an even
Yep.
bigger, maybe an even bigger turd than Doom, and this might anger a lot of people, but I don't care.
I don't care.
Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is a piece of crap.
Boo! I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Oh
Like the thing
gosh.
is that there are a couple of very redeeming properties to do with it. Very
What do you
redeeming.
mean that came from it?
Like there
You
are
mean
some
that?
very redeeming features from the film itself that I absolutely love.
I'd have to hear them because I was so okay. First, I want to say when the announcement came down that they were making Final Fantasy VII, I got very movie.
Hmm.
I got very excited
Yeah,
because
so did
Final
I.
Fantasy VII, one of my favorite games, and this was when CGI was just, like Pixar and all that stuff was just really kind of coming into its own, and so we were starting to see a lot more rendered movies.
Yeah,
And I kind of felt like the only way to present Final Fantasy VII as a movie would be rendered. So I was kind of cool with that.
yeah,
And then I saw like a little tiny teaser not a few months after that, and I was still excited.
yeah.
And then the movie dropped, and it was terrible.
And do you remember how they dropped the movie?
No. I've X'd that out. How?
You do not remember that they did not release this on DVD or in the cinema, but released it on a PSP UMD disc.
That's right.
This was exclusive to the
Ah,
PSP for a long time.
that's right. That's what made me so mad. I mean, there were several things, but that really made me mad because I did not have a PSP
Neither
at
did
that
I, and
time.
I was so
I couldn't
annoyed
afford
by
it.
it. No, neither could I. I was working, but I
Yeah,
couldn't afford it.
no, no way. That would be like a full paycheck or two full paychecks at the time.
It was at least two. At least two. If you wanted a game and a movie, then it
Mhm.
was at least two.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was terrible.
Okay.
And
I,
just I'm just
well, I'm going to change one thing, actually. I said there were two redeeming factors. I'm actually going to change that to one. Because the
okay.
first one was going to be the visuals, but the visuals have aged poorly. So
Yeah.
poorly. Like, they were groundbreaking at that time.
Yes. Yeah.
But they were like, oh boy, Cloud doesn't look good
No.
anymore. What annoyed me about that though is that his sword in that movie was so weird. Like, it was a
Yes.
Buster sword that come apart. It was like, what is this?
It it was strange and I didn't understand because I don't know. I couldn't follow it and it made me
No.
angry.
Well, so if I can try and remember what the heck the story was even about, because I
hmm
think I still can.
Oh, I couldn't follow the story. Could not follow the
I,
story
ca-
because it's
I can,
mhm,
and I don't know why. I don't know why I followed this so well.
right.
Maybe because I watched it a couple of times. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
watched it
only
more than
watched it once.
once. I watched it more than
Uh-huh.
once. Oh my god, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment, that's for
Well,
sure.
yeah, because I tortured myself with the Legend of Chun Li.
You masochist.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what my friend said at the time. Is why did you do that? And I went, I was bored.
Oh
Okay,
gosh,
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
story of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children was these are set 2 years after the events of the Black Materia. The
hmm
world is starting to come back into full fruition after Holy has taken effect,
Right.
and populations are starting to rebuild. However, there is a virus going around called the Stigmata,
Yes, that's right.
in
Oh
which
gosh.
people who have it will have red bands on their arms to show that they're
Right.
infected. However, this infection is actually being used by a group of three to resurrect Sephiroth,
Yeah.
which are the Advent children.
Mm-hmm.
So Cloud is brought back into action by Tifa and Barrett to stop it for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, and he's gone into his emo mode again, which is
Yes.
really weird. And he's on his own, and he's got a cell phone, and he's just I don't know why I said cell phone,
Yeah,
but it's
it
just
just
weird. And all
oh,
mostly what I remember from it is the annoying things that I used to say like dilly dally, shilly shally, and stuff like that.
yes.
Yeah. However, slight redeeming factor of one part, the the actual fight at the end between Cloud and Sephiroth is actually stunning.
I do remember liking that.
Yeah, that is like the only good thing. And to be fair, whoever does the voice for Sephiroth done a cracking job in it, because that
hmm
line at the end where Cloud beats him with Omni Slash finally, and
Yeah.
he goes, he just says, "I wish you would just go for this time. Like, I wish you would just go now." And he was like, "For I think Sephiroth says to Cloud, it's like to you, Cloud, I'll always be a fleeting memory." Or
Oh
something along
God.
those lines. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's so awesome. That is cool. It's like you're never ever gonna get rid of him. It's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
But
Yeah, because I mean that is Sephiroth. That is
yeah,
exactly yeah.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like flying off with his one wing, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's really cool.
But the only redeeming factor,
hmm
even after the fact that Naboo had decided to move on from Square, came back for
Right?
this, and he made one hell of a soundtrack for this.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah. Never let me say that the soundtrack wasn't beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
great. Like, it's where him and the Black Mages were like really coming up big time. Like, he had left
hmm
Square and was doing a lot of stuff with the Black Mages, and they made this entire soundtrack. as sort of
Yeah.
like what I said about. I mean, you won't have read it yet, but one of the things that I say in the Final Fantasy VII remake review that I've put together with a couple of people is that the soundtrack there is a loving recreation, but also a natural evolution.
Mm-hmm.
This one was more very inspired by the original game, but let's take it in a very metal way of doing
Yeah.
things, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I can't actually go back and listen to One Wing Angel anymore from the original game because I think the movie version is so much
It
better.
is. Yes. Yes. Oh gosh, yes.
Mm.
I remember listening to that back then, just putting it on repeat on a CD
Yeah, me
because
too.
that's what we had back then were CDs.
Yes, I ripped it from my iTunes to a CD so I could
Oh
listen to it as
gosh.
well.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's right. We used to have rewritable CDs too.
Yay! Yeah, so
Oh
I'd literally
gosh.
take like an old like CD player, like portable CD player out with me,
Yes.
have a
Yes.
rewritable CD that had different albums on it every
Oh
time.
my
It was so
gosh.
awesome.
Yes. Oh
God,
gosh. Oh,
we're
what a
old.
time. We are.
We're so old.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta love the days of
But
the old skippable portable CD players.
oh my gosh, yes. Or having like a CD and then having like a little scratch on one of the songs, and then in
Oh
your
God.
in your mind, that song would always have that little hiccup in it. So when you'd hear it, the proper way, you're like, oh,
Yeah. Funny thing is, right? There's a band that I love called Dream Theater who
oh yeah.
they put out an album in 1997 where one of the songs is a really really like powerful song that it was written by the guitarist for his dad who had just passed away. And it's called
Oh
Take
yeah.
Away My Pain. And the
Hmm.
thing was, when I tried to rip that to my iTunes, there was a scratch on the CD, so I only got like a
Oh
couple of minutes of the
gosh.
song, and I always thought that was it. I heard
Oh
the,
no.
I heard the full song, and I went, "What the hell is this?
That's not the right song. A
That's
real one?
no." It was the fact that it just stopped halfway through the song, and it was such an
Yep.
unnatural point to stop. But I always thought
Oh,
it was natural.
oh my
It's like
gosh.
what?
Ah, what a time. That was, yep.
Gotta love
That's
the old
before
the
Apple.
yeah. Gotta love the 2000s. Haven't you?
Yep, exactly.
Oh
Ah,
dear.
okay, we're gonna start winding down now. So,
Yeah. So, shall we mention a couple of movies that are all right? Because it's all been
yes.
mostly bad.
Yeah, because that's why I wanted to end it
So,
positive.
yeah. So, over the last couple of years, and this is how long it's taken, that the first movie we had was in 1993. It's taken right the way
Mm-hmm.
through until 2019 to get a good one.
Oh, goodness.
And that's not even to say that the movie is even that great.
Right.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. I have not seen it yet, and I feel bad because I
Mm.
do want to see it.
Yeah.
Um, it looks amazing, and it's Ryan Reynolds. So, yes.
Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about. All I will say about it is that I watched it recently again because it finally came onto Sky Movies.
Hmm.
So I'm not in. I wasn't as confused as I was the first time when I saw it in
All
cinema.
right.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good film, but it's not. I
Mm-hmm.
think the problem was that it was under this guise of, oh my god, we finally got a video game
Yeah.
movie that feels like the source material.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously not talking about the animated Pokemon movies because they were made
No, those
by
are.
Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, and
Yeah. See, then that's in a
they were
class by itself.
exactly animated movies are completely different because
Oh
they've
yeah.
we're just talking about Hollywood's excuse for a
Yes.
movie here.
Yes.
And by any stretch of the imagination, it's not a good movie because there's a lot of plot holes in it. There's a lot of stuff in there, and I'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
the villain is obvious, the plot is obvious,
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff that happens at the end is super obvious.
Right.
It's telegraphed very very early
Ah.
on. Um, okay, most people would say it's kind of a kids movie,
Right.
but it should be enjoyed by all, and it should have something
Yeah.
for everyone. And I think it does mostly because Ryan Reynolds does a cracking job as Pikachu. To be honest,
Woohoo.
he's very very good in it, and he, you know, It,
Mm-hmm.
the thing was, I think in terms of the source material, most people didn't realize that Detective Pikachu was actually a game. You know, on its
Oh,
own right.
right.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not Pikachu. It is a detective.
Right.
You know, and they had those
Mm-hmm.
games on the 3DS where
Yes, it did. Mm-hmm.
Pikachu's personality was lethargic, coffee swilling
Yes, that's right.
detective, and it's done. Ryan Reynolds does a really good job of it. To be fair,
Oh, that's so good.
the guy that's with him, and I'm struggling to remember his name.
He's a newcomer.
He is, and I'm gonna bring it up quickly, but
Yeah.
he puts in a good performance as well. He is quite comedic as well, which I really quite enjoyed.
Hmm.
You would think someone like Ryan Reynolds would give most of the comedy. It's not.
Right.
It is actually this kid who does most of it,
That's awesome.
which is cool. Like, I can't even spell today, people. Oh my god, I'm terrible. It's one of those days today, clearly.
It is. It is.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm trying to
Justice
think of some
Smith.
filler and I just can't.
Yeah, Justice Smith is his name.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's good in it. He's very good.
Yeah.
So, I think the way that they integrated all the Pokemon into Rhyme City is the
Hmm.
area of the world that they call it, where Pokemon aren't in Pokeballs. They walk around on their own. You know, they have jobs like everyone else. It's the unified system. I thought that was a really cool aspect of how they did it.
Yeah.
And when you finally get into Rhyme City, it's about 10, 15 minutes into the movie, and you see all
Hmm.
these Pokemon going around, and there's a new story about Squirtle, like,
Yeah.
putting out a fire with the fire department. And it's like, it's really well done,
Yeah.
but the plot is terrible, to be honest.
Ah, well.
Like, it's not
It's hard
bad. It's
to.
just so quite
Yeah.
bog standard and literally just a way to get you through the movie.
Yeah. So definitely Detective Pikachu is a plus to watch. A recommend.
it is a
A rec.
recommend. I would put it in the same way that I would with a Cinema Sins sort of
Mm-hmm.
way they do on their podcast. If you haven't checked them
Right.
out, check out Cinema Sins if you love films, because they talk about films with a lot of passion.
Woohoo.
But the way I would do it, I would call this a wreck a warn. And I know that sounds
Mm-hmm.
really weird if you know nothing about them, but it's like it's a recommend, but with like a hint of warning.
Ah, right, right.
So
Okay.
it's a good film, but there's a lot to do with it that might annoy you. So
Yeah.
you can't go into this fully positive or fully negative. So I would say be open and try and enjoy it, because
Yep.
it was enjoyable. Hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So
Ah, perfect.
and it's not long, so
Yeah.
that's always good. But
Um,
we're gonna move on to our very last film.
yep. Which we did an episode on.
We did a whole
We did.
episode on
Yeah.
the Sonic movie.
Yep. Still highly recommended.
Yes, it is, because I've actually watched it since as well.
Yes, you have. Yes.
Well, since it came out in cinema, I have
Yeah.
watched it again.
Yeah.
It's
And it still
it's
holds
still
up.
good. It's still good. It's weird that
Excellent.
I'm now staring at Jim Carrey's weird robotic face as well, because I
Oh,
pulled it up on IMDb and it's like massive. So I'm just
oh
staring
man.
at it. And it's so weird, but it's great.
See
I
it. Yeah.
You need to see it, honestly, because I don't know if a film's ever going to get this close to being as good as any of the games.
Yeah, that is, I've heard that. I've read that. And people who have watched it since it's become streamable,
Yeah,
available on streaming,
yeah,
have just reiterated exactly what you've said, which is watch it. It's good.
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised, let's say, because
Hmm.
when I watched it the first time, I went in thinking this is just gonna be a car wreck.
Yeah.
One of those sort of like you don't want to see it, but you can't take your eyes off of it because it's such a mess.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then I came out of it and I spoke with my partner about it, because she came with me on my birthday, like I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And even she went, I'm surprised how good that was.
Right.
And
And if
I
that,
never expected her to say that.
I was gonna say for basically a non-gamer to say that,
Yeah.
that's huge. That
Uh,
means it's, yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely fits to all audiences. It's not just.
Yeah.
It's got so many good nods to the gamers there and people who know the lore, but it was also just a nice plot. It's just a typical buddy cop movie, and I
Mm-hmm.
think they chose the best aspect with that. I mean, Act 2 is a bit slow at times. It's not a
Right.
perfect movie, of course.
Right.
It's a solid 7 out of 10 for me in that respect. It's just
Yeah.
the middle part does dip a little bit, but it's got some good humour in there. It's got some really weird stuff and stuff like
Ah,
that. And I mean, you can't go wrong at Jim Carrey chewing scenery, to be honest.
yes, exactly. I just, oh, yeah. I've professed my love of him many times on this show,
I think we
and I
both
will
have.
continue to do so. Yes, exactly. So I am definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I think that's going to bring us to a close,
Yeah.
except that I would like to say, well, two things. One, um, listeners, we would love to have some feedback on this. Like, what video game would you like to see as a movie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, good
Yeah.
question.
And if you have any recommendations for us to watch, or any just awful, terrible ones, like, oh, we didn't even talk about Alone in the Dark. I just realized that.
Yeah, but
Like,
we're...
it just clicked
No,
in my head.
no, 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 no.
Uh-huh.
No, I am going to put this now. If anyone
Yeah.
recommends me any Uwe Boll movies, then you can GTFO right now. Because they are bad, and I've watched them
He's the
all.
worst.
But
He's the worst.
also, I was thinking, if we do decide to come back to this one, that is a topic in its own right, is how bad these ones are by
Yeah.
comparison to the worst, what are considered some of the worst. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone mentions Mario and
Yeah.
Street Fighter and all that, but there is like a whole nother level of
Oh
terrible, and
yeah.
those are the Uwe Boll movies.
I can't. Oh yeah. We've got it. He needs to be a topic in and of himself. I love hate his stuff. It's amazing. But it just
I hate love his stuff.
you know. I did want to throw one little thing out, which I guess is kind of like my kind of game fact in a way.
Yeah, go on.
But do you know where the immortal line that gets said all the time, if you die in the game, you die in real life, is from?
God.
I know. I had to think of it too. I could picture it
No,
perfectly.
no, stop. No, I'm gonna have a think about this. So, do you want to wrap up whilst I have a think?
Yes, you have a think, and then I'll come
Okay,
back to it.
cool.
So yes, again, let us know, what you think of this. If you have any recommendations for us, what games you'd like to see us, movies, and you can send those to us either through the website, which is www.rapidreviewsuk.com, or on our Twitter, which is at Rapid Reviews UK, or the podcast specific Twitter, which is at RRPod.
It's on the screen. How can
Yeah, I
you?
had to scroll down.
Radio Pod. You did it last week, and I had to correct you.
I know. Oh yeah, and we'll come to that later. You can follow us on Twitch, which we are working on doing some streaming, which is twitch.tv/rrradiopod.
Can I stop you there? Because we've got plans. We have got some
Yes.
very good plans in
Yes.
place, but we are just currently working out logistical side of how to do them.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming for you guys. Stay tuned for sure. If you want, you can follow us on Facebook, Rapid Reviews UK, and
Boomer.
and of course, you can always send us stuff at podcast@rapidreviewsuk.com, which I think I tweeted out wrong. Now that I've said that out loud, I tweeted that wrong last week.
No, it's fine.
So maybe
Don't worry.
maybe it's my fault that we didn't get listener questions. But while you're still thinking, Pete, where can they find you?
So you can find me on the Twitter, that usual absolute hellhole of a place.
Yeah.
And you can follow me at Pete Beckett1, where I mostly tweet about silly crap.
Well, that's what Twitter's for.
Good point. So where can they find you on that hellhole?
Oh, and that terrible mire that is Twitter. I'm tweeting about autism constantly because I'm obsessed on it right now. I was diagnosed last year, and I just can't quite get to a place where I've accepted it yet. But it's at Kiley to Greet, which is KILEYTEHGREET. I have a lot of interactions with the autistic community, and so you can just kind of see and get a good point of view and all that good stuff. So, Pete, did you realize where if you die in the game, you die in real life come from?
Well, I can only think of two examples where I think something like that has happened. The
Mm-hmm.
first one, surely, and it's not said in this exact way,
Right.
but if you die in the Matrix, you die in real life.
I'm almost positive it was an homage to that.
Yeah, okay, so then it's gamer.
Well, no, it's not gamer, believe it
Damn
or
it!
not.
I was so certain on that as
You
well.
were very close, very close. This game that it came from was a a terrible movie called Stay Alive, which came out in
No.
2006, starred Frankie Muniz, who, if
Oh
you know
my
who that
god.
is from Malcolm in the Middle.
You're not the boss of me now.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was terrible. The poster, which I've never seen the poster before, I just remember the trailers.
Yep.
The poster is a looks like an Xbox controller
Ugh.
covered in blood.
Oh god, yeah, I know exactly what movie you're talking about as
Yep.
well. And
Yeah, you can
oh
see
god, it was
the
hideous.
the trailers were
It was
everywhere.
so bad.
So
That was
yeah, it
around
just
about the
says
time
it,
when Frankie Muniz was like really coming
yeah.
up, and he'd done that film called Big Fat Liars
Yes,
with Paul Giamatti.
that's right. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh. The Okay, wait, guys, before we wrap up, the web address for Stay Alive is can-u, the letter U, dash stayalive.com. Let's see.
Is it still active?
Let's see. Can you stay alive.com? No, it is no longer active.
Oh. I'm sure if we went back in the Wayback Machine, we'll see exactly what
Oh
it looked
yeah,
like.
yeah. But oh my gosh. Yes, so anytime you hear it all the time. It's basically a meme now.
Yeah,
If you die in real life or if you die in the game, you die in real life. It comes from a movie called Stay Alive from
yeah.
2006.
Awesome.
Uh so Pete, hit us with your actual game fact.
Oh, that's thrown me off now, though. That's the problem.
Oh, I'm mistake. Okay, wait.
What?
Look at that poster. I've sent Pete the image of the poster, the
Oh,
movie poster.
oh, oh my
Okay,
gosh.
that's PlayStation buttons.
Yeah,
That is
Square
not a
X.
PlayStation. Yeah, that's
No,
not a PlayStation
that's a
controller.
third party controller. That looks like an old Mad Catz controller.
That is terrible.
If you die in the
Oh,
game, you die for real. Game over.
oh my gosh,
It's
guys. Oh,
so bad.
it's
It
just
doesn't even look
terrible.
like blood on there. It just looks like this
No,
like red
corn syrup,
perspex
red corn
controller.
syrup. Yep.
No, I just
Oh
meant
my
it looks
god.
like the outer casing is just red
Oh,
perspex.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh. Oh
god.
gosh. Okay. All right. Now hit us with that game
Okay.
fact.
Okay, so we're now going to go really full circle on this one because I'm
Right.
bringing it back to a news story. Did you know
Okay.
that during the development of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 in 2001, there was a part of the game that included the terrorists taking over an airport?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, that airport level, do you remember all the windows smashing in it?
Yes.
Well, originally it was
Yes.
supposed to be a terrorist plot, and you and Tony Hawk and all his friends had to stop it.
Oh my
It was taken out
gosh.
of the game because the game came not long after the September 11th attacks.
Oh my gosh. That's
I
crazy.
know.
Ah.
It's
Well,
so weird, right?
that is very weird. That
Oh
is going
dear.
to do it for another episode. We hope you've enjoyed our strange
How could you?
rabbit hole visit to the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, could I also bring up one other thing as well? We
Absolutely,
originally
yeah.
said we wanted this as a shorter episode. It's still over
Yes,
2 hours.
I know, I know. Oh my gosh. This
Jeez. I
every time.
apologise. Sorry.
No, no. I think it was what it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, but thanks everyone for stopping by. We love it when you do. And we will talk to everyone next week.
Yeah, we will.
Bye.
Bye. No Uwe Boll movies, please.